Get 'em Jimmy, where low shack at? The bottle's getting empty up the crack and we stacking chips, all of it's what I want. Plus money winners, that's what I'm on. You can say I'm gone. I prefer elevated pub sports radio. Time to get educated, get produced, leave the juice, letting loose with so much abuse that the bookies wanna call a truce. They getting slaughtered. Can't forget Jeff and low baggers in the chat. That's a lethal weapon 'cause we be pubbing.
What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Wednesday, February 28th to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. Tough night last night. Tough end to the night with the Canucks falling off. I've hit my low watermark in NHL in my career. In all the years I've been with you, I guess there's been 6, but before I was with you guys, I've never been down 20 units in NHL my entire life, and it's crazy because I was just up 7 units, and I was in 2024, so it's just falling apart at the seams, and we cap the card together, and we do our best to beat the books together. But the most important part of this show really always comes down to the transparency and accountability with record keeping, something that you just don't see in the industry. And I get it. It's just horrific what's happening to me in NHL. So have to start there. Just have to start what happened. 2 in 1 day in NBA. So I stopped the losing streak in NBA. 3 and 4 in college basketball. It was just Colorado State to end the night. There was a rough end to the night. I'm sitting there ready to be in the black, and the Nucks and then the Penguins team total under. Lars Eller scored a nice goal to tie it up, but the first goal was sort of a fluke bounce. The second goal was a 5-on-3. Tyler Myers cross-checking. I forget who he cross-checked, but as shorthanded. 2 seconds into the shorthanded, so they have a 5-on-3 for a minute 57. Was so frustrating. So I'll be on the Kraken tomorrow night, fading the Pittsburgh Penguins. And I hate that we have to start the show off like this, but it is what it is. With the roller coaster ride that is every night for us as gamblers, and then having to do all the prep, I didn't get the records of my colleagues who will be on the show today up, and it's too bad because they're doing great. It would make the show look better. I've fallen a little bit behind the record keeping there, and I would like to fix that. So I'll do my best to fix that. My records are there. That was the one thing that I wanted to ensure was, regardless how ugly the NHL and NBA records are, it's unbelievable because January 7th, 8th, I was sitting there up double-digit units in college basketball and NBA and up in NHL, and it's falling apart for me. Simultaneous with the unit size going up, it's stretching my bankroll thin, and the need to win has never been more intense. So that's what it is. I'm thankful to be here. I'll get out of this as soon as we start capping. I know I will. But right now it's frustrating, man. Billy Friedrich in the house. Pig milk play today. South Carolina plus a 5. Pig milk play today right now 4-1, plus 2.92 units. We have 3 cappers for college basketball now. CMac going to join us for NHL. Roll into college basketball. We have CMac, then Daby Cab, and then Mikey Money, all giving us their best bets. And I don't think we have a game doubled up. I think every cab, and I didn't even send them what games were on, but it's a huge college basketball card. Then we have Dutch Boy Fresh delivering the goods in NBA. Dan Kelly says, so yesterday afternoon, the Cavs were -4 versus the Bulls. Now they're 5.5. Nobody's out for either team, but yesterday the Cavs won a tough last-second thriller. 59-foot shot by Strus. I couldn't believe it. It was one of those shots where it looked like it was going to score immediately when it left his hands, which is just nuts. And the Bulls got smoked as favorites. He says, makes no sense. Cavs have to travel. Both teams on back-to-back. I'm on Bulls money line. I'm on Bulls plus 5. I did not think it was going to go to 5.5. That was a mistake, but those are the only 2 bets I've made. I'm on the Bulls, and I'm on the under 6.5 in the Rangers Blue Jackets game that we will be discussing here. Kent Davis is after my one-day break. He's on the Jackets, Rangers under 6.5, and the Oilers minus 1.5 at plus 105. Trill OG play today is Denver first quarter minus 2.5. That's a fascinating spot too that we'll discuss. Denver sitting there having lost all three games to Sacramento this year. You telling me that's not going to come up in the locker room? I don't see how it wouldn't come up in the locker room. But I thought the number didn't make sense for Sacramento plus 8, especially Sacramento coming off that ugly loss. But then when I sat there with the fact that, they've beaten the Nuggets in all three games, it did give me pause. I was expecting to come in here with both the Bulls and the Kings bet, but I'm not going to, at least at this point, bet the Kings. Jokic triple-double as well for our LJ from H-Town. Dan Kelly got the plus 6. God, that's nice. Just frustrating that I got the 5. Very, very. I got it minus 104. I could have got the 5.5 at minus 113, and I did not. A real deal prime in the house, frustrating by the penalties that were called last night. I get it. I mean, it was just, it was tough. Very, very, very tough watching those hockey games and some of those penalty calls. I mean, the under 6.5, I was really confident in Vegas, Toronto. 0-0 after the first period, and that falls by the wayside. It was all just so frustrating to watch. Real deal prime. Kent Davey says Chattanooga playing a bad Mercer team today. That's won 3 of their last I'm not sure how many games. It isn't right there. Chattanooga got Trey Bonham back last out, shook off the rust, should explode today. I'm not sure if actually, I wrote down all the games, obviously, because I had to prep for them. Chattanooga is not one of our games here, so I'm going to copy and paste that. Thank you for sharing that with us. We're about to get started. We're about to get rolling here in NHL. Just going to give a couple more shots out, and then we will roll. Smooth balls play of the day, Oklahoma State minus 2. Oklahoma State minus 2. These swings that we have, we get hot, we get cold, or whatever. This one is hurting more than anyone I ever remember. Maybe the stakes are just a little bit higher than they've been. Also, with the young family, it's not just me that I can get and put into a bad situation. So stakes are high. Stress is enormous. Mikey Money in the house. Mikey's got a great looking card. I really like Mikey's card. I'm interested to see which spots are going to correlate enough for me to pull the trigger. Very, very interested in that. Ian Shaber, Joey Harb, NJ Striker in the house. Joey Marinaccio, the Dapper Capper, Swiggy Bets, serious business. And Von Polo says that Detroit Pistons play last night was amazing. Von Polo and Mikey Money both on Detroit Pistons money line was a thing of absolute beauty. Great job, you guys. Just under 5-1 on that. Beautiful work. There's Jay Peasy in the house. Coin. Jared TG off a bad night in NHL. I didn't help. Swiggy says his Penguins haven't shown that much heart all season. They haven't forechecked in 2 years. Yeah, it was 2-0 after the first period, and there was that fluke goal, and then that stupid Tyler Myers. Look, the 5-on-4 power play for the Penguins was doing nothing. I was not even in the third period. They had 2 huge chances on the power play. I was not too concerned, but God made me want to smash something. Slatsy, your call on the Habs was a thing of beauty yesterday. Now 8-1 last night, betting with them, and now we pivot next 5 games for Panthers, Tampa, Nash, Canes, and Leafs. Slatsy sees 0-5 in these games. Yes, I mean, I've got my card ready for tomorrow as soon as those lines come out. I tell you, the record is what it is in NHL, and I hate it. And it is what it is. And but I'm going to go out guns a-blazing. I'm not just going to sit back and say, well, NHL got me, because it's never got me before, and it's not going to get me this year. It's getting me right now. But I've got right now Bruins minus 1. I'm going to want the under in Vegas, Boston. Red Wings minus 1. Panthers, my Red Wings were, you guys were talking about the hangover. I'm not going to pat myself on the back after one good bet when I was all over the board yesterday. Panthers, puck line, and then Predators and Kraken is my plan at this point. My plan. Stacks play of the day is in its Texas A&M. That's a game that Mikey Money is talking about. So let's copy and paste that. Thank you for sharing your hard work every morning with us, Justin, my guy. So let's copy and paste that. Wine Time off of 4-1 day yesterday. Great work, Wine Time. And, the Cavs made some boneheaded moves down the stretch. They're a really good basketball team. I'm looking forward to back them in the playoffs, able to handle that. And Struce, just what a pickup he's been. The guy's a gamer. Stacks play of the day is in, so that's going to be under Mikey Money's action here, and I expect you to like hearing what Mikey Money has to say about your Stacks play of the day setup. Mike Wilkerson is on the Pacers -5.5. Man, did I look at that? Good God, did I look at that closely? I found that. I get it. But the Pelicanos, what they're doing on the road, and the fact that the line got shorter. Now, maybe it was too big to begin with, but we'll talk all about that. Santi says, what is happening in Tampa? That was a shock and awe for me. Shock and awe. I plan to keep fading the Flyers. They're a gutsy team. I'm fading these teams with a lot of heart and a lot of character, like Philadelphia and Boston. But I'm not going to fade Boston now after 3 straight overtime losses. In Vegas coming off the win, I think it's just prime for the Bruins -1 and the under. For both of them. Von Polo says Bulls all day. There's Truth Teller in the house. Great to see you. And Res Mob up over 100 units on the University of Houston this year, but losing on Kentucky. Yeah, that was a big comeback. Mississippi State. I was on Mississippi State. That hurt. That hurt bad. Stimmy big on the over 215.5 in Cleveland, Chicago. I get that. Bulls shoot 2 for 29 from 3 last night. Maybe the second half of back-to-back, the Cavs won't be playing that tough of a defense. The Bulls are shooting 25.8% from 3, obviously, since the All-Star break. And, they're just a bad basketball team right now. Justin McKelvey already moved on the Bulls +5. Von Polo on the Pacers and the Mavericks. So Dallas, Toronto is going to be a big game that we talk about. Wine time on Raptors +3 in the money line. All right, it's time to get to work. I got to get my mojo going. That will take a little bit of time. Mike Wilkerson says bad officiating in the Mavs game. It was really tough to watch, man. I tell you that. Philly Eagle Flyers on Chelsea first half draw, on Leeds to advance, on Liverpool first half and reg, and Man U to advance in regulation for us. SOKK says NBA unders to the moon. You're absolutely right. That's happening for sure. For sure. All right. Rocco Rogers ready to get to work. A great group. Thank you guys for joining us. We are going to get to work in NHL. And, it's just horrifying. But, it's not March yet. Lots of time left. My futures look strong. I've just got to get my shit together here. There's razor sharp picks in the house. This Saturday, we have our horse racing stream. It's going to be so nice just to focus on the thoroughbreds. I'll obviously have NHL action, but it's going to be nice to focus on thoroughbreds on Saturday. I can't wait for that. And Andrew G says, what a nightmare. You're right. This is tough, and you'll see it when the record comes up. It's hard to imagine that I was in the black, 5 or 6 weeks ago. But these swings are the most difficult things that we have to handle. And I didn't handle the loss very well last night. I was, sleepless night. I got a few hours, but, up at like 5:30, panicking. So let's get to work. We need a winning day today. We need to get that cash. So let's get to work. Let's bring on your star of Wednesdays here on Betting with the Bag. He'll be capping the 2-game NHL slate, and he'll be giving us his best bets in NCAA basketball from Las Vegas, Nevada. Please welcome our guy. You'll also see him on the Saturday Horse Racing Show, but he has his own college basketball live stream that will be on first. We'll come over after that big college live stream. So will Dabby Cab. I hope they both can join us. But please welcome from Las Vegas, Nevada, Migda Mac Daddy in the house. Connor, how are you, my man?
Jimmy, what's going on? I'm doing well. I can't wait for Saturday. Huge day of basketball. Fun. Can't wait.
Huge day for pub. We'll have 3 streams going on at the same time because of the early UFC stream. I really do think they're 3 different audiences, though. So I think it's all good. We'll fire away. But any kind of live action you want in sports gambling was right here on Pub. College basketball live stream, horse racing live stream, UFC live stream coming at you. CMac, I'm in rough shape, but I
wish we had a bigger slate too today. It's like
And I wish I had your record up there. You've been great. I'm sorry that I don't have your records up. It's just falling a little bit behind with my statistics. But let's get to work here. This one screamed at me. 7 p.m. Eastern. Columbus Blue Jackets 19, 28 and 10, 9, 13 and 6 on the road at the New York Rangers 39, 17 and 3, 27 and 0 at home. We're at Madison Square Garden in New York, New York. So the two angles here on the under, which has moved against me. I really like the under. It's moved against me. I know that the Columbus Blue Jackets aren't the kind of team that you want unders with. I get it. But I think tonight is a little different. And obviously, it's just the same old unit bet. But I really do believe in this under. Sitting under 6.5 and minus 113. Well, that's good. That's good. So it has started to move in my direction. Now, when I bet this, though, it was God, I can't even remember exactly what the 6.5 was. I remember it was moving away from me. So let me just see what I got exactly here. I got that under 6.5 at minus 116, and I don't know how. I don't know how I didn't get a better line on it. I guess I just bet it right at the wrong time because at 6.50, it was only at minus 116 for 49 minutes. And somehow those were the 49 minutes I bet. There was a 7-cent move against me almost an hour later. But I am on the under 6.5 right now. This has moved 3 cents towards the under, so I'm okay. I think I'm okay with the fact that it's moved back, and I get that Columbus have played to a lot of overs of late. Rangers opening up at minus 245. They're now minus 251. A 6-cent move towards them, and this is the two angles for me. One, I believe seeing a team in a short span, it breeds contempt. And the fact that the Rangers, if they had have beaten Columbus 2 nights ago, would have won their franchise record 11th straight game. I think that adds to the contempt. Thirdly, I think that everybody knows that Shesterkin is the most, Vasilevsky obviously has been the king of Russian goaltending, but Shesterkin, has a Vezina under his belt. And we know the type of goaltender he has looked to be over the last little while, the best Russian goaltender in the NHL. Now, I know Merzlikins is not Russian, but I do believe that Merzlikins wants to step up against Shesterkin. And I think that Merzlikins and Shesterkin will put on another show this evening. And they did one on Monday. Monday, there were 81 shots on goal combined, and they both looked fantastic. So we also have strong penalty killing. A New York Rangers penalty killing 82.9, and the Columbus Blue Jackets penalty killing has been okay. 76.7% has been okay of late. And Pascal Vincent, the Blue Jackets coach, so we're seeing a lot of things to stop scoring right now in the NHL. And one, you're seeing a whole new penalty killing regime against the Canucks, and it's working. It's working. It's 1-2-1 or 2-1-1, but the forwards do not both come up together. There's just one forward at the top, right on Quinn Hughes. You're also seeing coaches say that they can slow down the Rangers transition game. Now, they just won 10 straight games, but Pascal Vincent believes he can slow down this transition game. He's been talking about it. They've been talking about it, and now they're going to attempt to do it again. Jackets are without Adam Fantilli and Patrick Laine. Alexander Teixeira, he missed Monday's game with an illness, but he's expected to be ready to go. And as we know, Philip Hedl done for the year. Blake Wheeler also out, but could return for the playoffs. I'm on the under 6.5. That is my action. Take it away for us, CMac. Blue Jackets, Rangers, your plan.
Yeah, let's see too. I'm going to stay off the total. It depends what you like here. The Rangers have played to 4 or 5 straight unders, and they went on that win streak. They were probably due for a loss on the back-to-back, and they were outplayed the game before in that Flyers game, that they pulled off 2-1, and that happens in NHL. But I think in this, and in that game against the Blue Jackets, I think they not that they outplayed them, but they had 40 shots. They just didn't seem to go in, and find the back of the net. I think they do here today. I think the Rangers bounce back. I want them here at home. The problem is the price, Jimmy. And if we can look around, I think I have Circa here. I have to have even money to take a puck. I mean, I can't go, I can't take anything without it. So if we could still get that, I saw it about 20 minutes ago at Circa. I'm going to be on them. One thing with Columbus, they're off to win. I love Elvis, but he's older and not the same goaltender that he is on the road. You talked about all those good numbers, the penalty kill, all that stuff for the Jackets since the break. You know what? Who have they beat? That game, the Rangers was good. Obviously, they beat the Ducks and the Sharks before that. Losses to the Kings and a tough 2-1 loss to the Sabres. And I want to take this Jackets team, but I just think it's a bad spot here. And if I can get that even money on with the Rangers.
Yeah, you got it. It's
They're
at
better.
Pinnacle right now. So
Cool.
CMac on the board with the Rangers -1.5 at plus 100.
We'll see. What do you think of that? It's the Rippy kids first game. You know what I thought of? He's getting his ass kicked by a few older guys in some of those fights. He's a big guy, so he's 6'7", but I think he's finding out 6'2", 6'1" guys could throw him around, kick his ass. Too.
That always happens to the young, tough guys that come up. It's part of the two.
I think it's his first home game, right, too? Yeah.
There's a lot of excitement around him. So this is just part of the journey, It's a lot easier these days than it was in the late 80s. I'll tell you that much. But CMac on the Rangers -1.5. I'm on the under 6.5. Let's move on to game 2 here, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. St. Louis Blues 30-25-2, 13-14-1 on the road at the Edmonton Oilers, 34-20-2, 18-8-2 at home at Rogers Place in Edmonton, Alberta. BJ's best bet is in. It's Pacers -4.5. Wow, that line keeps dropping. Pacers -4.5 now. Let's copy and paste that. Thank you for sharing that with us, BJ. It makes a ton of sense. I took a long look at it. So let me just make sure that's copied and pasted. That'll be the first NBA game that we talk about with Dutch Boy Fresh. Every day here with us, as long as you bet size appropriately and you take care of your bankroll, is a new day full of hope. And it's just that the heaviness of this run, this poor run I'm on, is affecting me. It's affecting me, and I need to snap out of it and shake it off and get back to winning. And I do think this NHL card tomorrow is a thing of beauty. But Blues Oilers here, Binnington Skinner, Binnington 20-16-2, 2.93 goals against average, 909 save percentage, 3 shutouts. Skinner 26-13-2, 2.70 goals against average, 903 save percentage, 2 shutouts. Skinner's not looked very good of late. None of the Oiler goaltending has looked good on this homestand. I'm looking forward to opportunities to back them when they get out on the road. Again, I do believe in this hockey team, but I don't want them at this price. I couldn't take the Rangers, at that price. But I get the Rangers look more than I get the Oilers look, just because the Blues. Now both teams are very healthy. The Blues have lost to Detroit and Winnipeg for the first 2 games of this 3-game road trip by a combined score of 10-3. I mean, this is unacceptable. And Bannister's going to be all over them. It's just unacceptable the way they played on this trip. And now they face the Oilers. I mean, this team, you're going to be able to hear a pin drop in this dressing room before game time. And so Oilers coming off snapping their 3-game losing streak with a 4-2 win at home versus the Kings on Monday night, but they're not happy. They're not happy at all. Thank you guys for the kind words. You guys through my career have stuck by me. When I've been struggling, and it truly does mean the world to me. And this is it's tough to take, man. Tough to take. BJ says, he got the 4.5 last night. I saw the line moving back again towards the Pelicans. Maybe I'm wrong, but I did see it go from 6 to 5.5, so I thought maybe it was 4.5 now. But we'll go over all that. So this for me, I don't want Edmonton at this price. I would take St. Louis. I think there are a lot of people who will be on St. Louis because of how angry they are, and they're a good hockey team. I don't want it here though. Take it away for us, my man. Blues Oilers. And shout out to our guy Rube Boy, now a PSR Gold members. Rube Boy now will be in our horse races every Tuesday and Friday. Yeah. Shout out to Rube Boy, and thank you, my man. Take it away for us here, CMac Blues Oilers.
Shout out to Rude Boy. Get in the goddamn gold. What are you waiting for? Shout out to everybody. Shout out to the whole chat, but shout out to everyone in the green, the membership. We appreciate you guys here. I got to be on this over here, Jimmy. I have to do it. The Blues, after the loss last night, they need to win. Losers of 4 or 5, and I was on that game. I think you were as well. Was it last week, the Islanders, where they scored 3 goals there, about 30 seconds? That's basically in 30 seconds, that's kind of all of the best they've looked a little bit as of late. We talk about how we want to back them at home. This is a huge price. I'm very tempted. And they've had some success even here in Edmonton in the past, have the Blues, but they have not looked great. But the goaltending and the defense, where has this gone for the Oilers? 17, the win streak, how good the defense looked. Man, they're great. Can we see this? And they're kind of back to normally what they've done. And it's just tough to go through the long season and continue it. But hopefully the time they need to pick it up is when it matters in the playoffs. So hopefully they can get that done. But I think we get more goals here tonight. I have to be on this over. I think the Oilers get plenty, and I think the Blues get 2 or 3 here on this back-to-back. So give me the over.
Yeah, I thought about taking the over as well. I did. The only concern is the Blues have allowed 10 goals in the first 2 games, and you can't if you fight fire with fire. With the Oilers, you're going to get burnt.
Oilers, though, Jamie, real quick, as much as they're great on the power play, they've just been giving up a ton. Penalty kill hasn't been good since the break. Goaltending hasn't been good, like you mentioned. So, yeah,
no,
I got to take it.
You were right. This penalty killing looked spectacular during their 17-game win streak, and it's fallen off. But this was the difference from them this year and last year. Again, last year, remember, their power plays at 35%, breaks the NHL record. And their penalty killing was down at 69-70 for most of the year. Now you have an 80% penalty killing, but a 27% power play. You just can't get it all. The over 6.5, though, it's juiced to the under at almost all books except for Pinnacle, which is a great sign. But we can get you that over 6.5 at minus 105. If anyone can beat that, let me know. But that will be for CMac. CMac on the over 6.5. At minus 105. All right. There's our guy, Nut Flush. Allen says team totals coming soon. Just get me situated. Just let me get situated. And it's on Thinking of You, Nut Flush, and love the way that you're handling these extremely difficult times that you have in your family right now. You inspire us all with your strength, man. So we're sending love to the Nut Flush Allen family. All right. That is NHL. I'm on the under 6.5 in Columbus, New York Rangers. CMax on the Rangers minus 1.5 at even money, and he's on the over 6.5 at minus 105. Thank you, Nate Dogg and Christian Rivas and all of you guys who are, Cheshire Cat, all you guys that got my back here with this these struggles. It's not easy to handle. Okay, let's get into college basketball. Here we have a huge card. So let's get right after it and set it up. I love the action that our cappers have. We're going to have CMac, Dabby Cab, and then Mikey Money in succession here. And it's been working. So let's get this all set up here and then set it up. And then I'm going to reset it up because we are going to be cutting this out for anyone who just wants to see the college basketball here on the show. So let's get this set up. Okay, and let me get this moved over here and this here, and then move over this. And your first game on deck is a ways down. I remember it with the Furman spots. Let me just pull it up, and then I will reintroduce all of this. I apologize for the delay. Okay. Let's rock. It is time now for NCAA basketball here, Wednesday, February 28th, right here on Pub Sports Radio. We have Conor Mac rolling with us from Las Vegas, Nevada. Let's get started. We start at 7 p.m. Eastern. The Furman Paladins, 16-13, 10-6 in the Southern at Western Carolina Catamounts, 20-9, 9-7 in the Southern. A Ramsey Regional Activity Center. Sounds like a prison. Let's get to work here. We have Furman bouncing back from that loss at Samford, 74-72 loss. They beat up on Wofford at home, 82-67. Furman 10-6, a game up on Western Carolina here. Western Carolina's won 2 of their last 3. They're coming off a win at VMI. VMI, the laughingstock here of the Southern Conference, 1-15. Citadel 3-13. And these teams are good, but they're all looking up at Samford, and that is who Furman lost to. Other than that, they've been handling business. So then the next question is, what happened when Furman and Western Carolina faced each other the first time? It was a very tight game that Furman won at home, 65-62. They were 3.5-point favorites, so they didn't cover it, and there was a game-winning 3 at the very last second that took care of business for Furman. That is the situation. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. Shout out to our guy, KD. We got Kadesh in the house now. Remember, we be pubbing. Thank you, KD. It's great to have you back in action, man. We have missed you. Let's get to this line history spot for Furman, and there's Wofford. The hell is Furman? Sorry about that. We have it. Here we go. Right now, we're using BetOnline line moves for college basketball. Again, if you're looking for a new account, go through our website, pubsportsradio.com, and you get 100% bonus up to $1,000. And it doesn't have to be Bitcoin. It can be cash. This opened up Western Carolina -3. They're now -2.5. So just a 0.5-point move there from a total side of things. Let's get over to the total. See what we are dealing with. And while that's coming up, let me grab the cash flow as well. But from a total side of things here with Furman, we have them sitting at, come on, roll up. Here we go. Sitting at 148. This opened up at 150. So we have a 2-point move towards the under. And then from a cash flow standpoint, God, sorry, this is taking a while. So many games here. We have 51% of the tickets and 77% of the cash on Western Carolina, but we've seen this go from 3 to 2.5. And total wise, 76% of the tickets and 81% of the cash on the over, and we've seen it drop from 150 to 148. Billy Briz says the under seemed like a good trend to back both teams dead unders this month. Let's hear what CMac has to say. Game 1 for him on the board. Southern action at Western Carolina.
Yeah, Billy knows what he's doing. Shout out to my guy. He's looking at this. I think 6 straight unders for Western Carolina, 4 or 5 for Furman. The under's been great here for Western Carolina. They're 9-17 on the year, and it's been because of their defense. With these two, Furman, over the years has really owned Western Carolina. Finally, Western Carolina, I think, has the better team here and the better defense. Furman could still score a little bit. They just give up a ton of points. Furman, though, one thing, they're just not efficient. They're not great defensively, and they're not very good on offense. So while I wanted the full game over, I'm going to stick to just Furman's team total to stay under. This team does not shoot well. They don't shoot well from 3, 32%, and they shoot a ton. They make 9 a game. They shoot 30. And this is a top 25 3-point defense here in Western Carolina. So I think they play well. I really want a 74.5 because I could only really find 73.5. But if that's the best, give it to me. A team total under Furman. Okay.
Let's get this up here. I'm going to pull up a couple different books to find you your first spot on the board, which is the Furman team total under. Let's get over to NCAA and see what we can get you for it here. So Furman team total under, and this is at 2, by the way, not at 2.5. So there's been a full point move towards Furman over at Pinnacle. It's worse here. It's 72.5. So let's get your 73.5. What is it? What can you get, CMac?
It was this morning. I have to go get a look at it.
Okay, why don't you take a look at it, and we'll set up the next spot on the board. All right. And Kadesh has been a member straight for a year today. Let's get that catch. All respect, KD. It's great to see you back in action with us, my man. All right, let's roll. Next up, 7 p.m. Eastern, we head to the A-Sun Stetson Hatters, 18-11, 10-4 in conference at the Jacksonville Dolphins, 14-14, 5-9 in conference. We're at Swisher Gymnasium in Jacksonville, Florida. Let's get into your line history and the rest situation here. Stetson bounced back from their loss to Queens University, 83-75. They lost. They bounced back by beating Kennesaw State 84-72. They've stacked together a lot of victories. They're 2 games back of Eastern Kentucky at the top of the A-Sun standings. And Jacksonville bounced back also. The same situation. They had lost. They lost, at Queens University, 74-65. It was a ugly performance. They were just 2.5-point dogs. They were down the entire time. They bounced back. It was a nice bounce back spot for Jacksonville. They beat North Florida at home 62-50. That was on Friday. And Stetson beat Kennesaw State on Saturday. Let's take a look at the line history here for this Stetson spot. From a total standpoint, we're dealing with a 137. which means that there has been no movement. This opened up at 137, it's back at 137. It did go to 136, for a little bit. And then from a point spread scenario here, let's get that up. From point spread scenario, the Stetson Hatters are sitting at -1 right now. This opened up at a pick'em. There's been a 1-point move towards Stetson. And then when we take a look at the cash flow, you have 57% of the tickets and 68% of the cash on Stetson. We have no help for the total or the money line. That's the only information we're getting. Take it away for us here. Stetson Hatters, Jacksonville Dolphins, CMac.
Give me that 110 because I have 115. I mean, if that's for real, if Ian, the 73.5.
Oh, perfect.
I have 115.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Ian. All right, you got it.
Appreciate it.
Lock in with Stetson, Jacksonville, my man.
Let's get it. Man, this Jacksonville team's been sneaky good at home and sneaky good in conference. And this is where I want to back them. They're 11-1. And they're not great. This team's got to slow it down. They got to take care of the ball, and they got to play good defense. This team is not very good shooting. It happened the last game out against North Florida. I think they were small dogs that game. Not only they covered, and it went over, and they had huge second half. And I think that can happen here. I like the Stetson team, and I backed them a ton. I've backed them at home, but I don't really want to back them here. This is a revenge, game here, January 6th, 71-55. I think this game's going to be flipped and kind of look the other way. Now, Jacksonville's got to hold them down. And there's been a lot of teams like North Florida where these teams, Jimmy, were just over games in the 80s and 90s, and then they score 60. I think this is back to a lower scoring one. So this is a double up for me. I want Jacksonville, and I want this under. I think the defense comes to play. One thing with Stetson, they shot it well. I wrote down that last game against Kennesaw, like almost 50% from the field. But one thing they struggle with is turnovers. All year long, and I think they could be sloppy with the ball. If that happens, Jacksonville gets the win here, and this game stays under. So give me both.
All right, let's lock you into both here. Sorry, I'm trying to get it set up for the next one. There we go. Indiana State, Evansville. Okay, let's get this line shopping for you here. So we're going to start with Jacksonville, and then we're going to add the under. Do you want, let's go to money line here because it's a pick 'em here. So we'll get better looks for Jacksonville on the money line. Right now, -105 is the best money line. Oh, -104 at Pinnacle. Would you rather have the +1? Should we look for the +1?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm only getting -104.
Jacksonville -104. Okay, let's look for what the +1 is, as well as the total. From a +1 point standpoint, we can get you a +1 at -110. So that would cost you 6 cents. +1 at -110 or money line -104. What would you prefer?
Just give me the +1.
All right, so +1 for Jacksonville, +1 -110. And then on the total side of things, we are going to get you a 137. Looks like it's the best. No, that's not a legit book. 137 -110. Can you beat that?
No, 137.5 is what I have.
Oh, nice.
Actually, let me double check. Let me pull up. I don't have Circa up here.
All right, see if that's live.
Sign in. Yeah.
All right, we're going to roll on. North Ender leaning towards Jacksonville. Arthur Meade Jr. leaning towards Jacksonville. He's got the Dolphins here. So under 137.5 -110. Let me know if we can beat that. Other than that, we're going to roll on to the next spot for our guy, CMac. We head to the MV.
Yeah, Jimmy. Here. 138 -110. That's right.
Under 138 -110. All right, Indiana State Sycamores 24-5, 15-3 in the MVC at the Evansville Purple Aces, 15-14, 6-12 in the MVC. We're at the Ford Center in Evansville, Indiana. Set this.
Oh, Jim, pass this game. Scratch it. I forgot to write you. You scratch it.
No worries. You're going to cut it. Can you give us an idea of where you were leaning here? Just because Indiana State's bounced back. They get ranked, and they can't handle that pressure. They bounce back, against the weakling Valparaiso, and then they beat UIC. So those are the two worst teams in the conference for them to get their mojo back. And then, the Purple Aces just in the throes of this losing streak. What was your plan before you scrapped it?
Yeah, I wanted to take Evansville. I wanted double digits here, basically. And I kind of had to stick to my guns here because Indiana State, even on the road, has beat up teams by seems like 15 or more. You talked about them getting ranked, then kind of losing, come back down to earth. And Evansville, one thing I've liked, this team just has been playing well, too, lately. They had the 3-point loss to Drake at home. They lose a couple. Then they had a bad shooting night for Southern Illinois, only 53 points. One thing I like is they can score, and they're at home here. In the end, it's just a lean for me. I wanted more than 10. I just could see them win by 15. Indiana State's really kicked this Evansville team's ass. This team hasn't been very good for years now. This has been one of their better teams, but on a 5-game losing streak, it kind of is like the wheels have just fallen off. But if they shoot well here, they're in it. So it's definitely it's just one of these games I need more time with giving it this morning. Like I'm probably maybe I'll play on it. I just need more here.
No, I feel you, and it's helpful just to hear what your plan of action was. This line is not moving off the 9.5. There are bigger bets at this point that have been placed on Indiana State, but this line's not moving. Let's roll on to the next spot on your board. We head to the Sun Belt for this one. Troy Trojans 19-10, 12-4 in the Sun Belt at the Louisiana Ragin' Cajun 17-12, 9-7 in conference in the Cajun Dome in Lafayette. Troy coming off the win over Louisiana Monroe. I know that they were a laughingstock of this conference, but Louisiana Monroe has been better. They didn't look good last night, but they have been better. And then Louisiana Ragin' Cajuns in the throes of a 3-game losing streak, but all 3 of the losses came on the road. They lost, at App State by 12. They lost at UL Monroe by 7. They lost at Southern Miss by 11. So 3 straight losses on the road, and now they come home where they have been okay. Let's take a look at the line history, and then of course we need to know, have these teams played before? Is there any kind of Rebenga? And 79-73 victory for Troy at home. Troy were just 1.5 point favorites. It was a very, very close game. Both teams shot poorly from 3, so no real excuses there. Justin McKelvey says Louisiana minus 2.5 is on his card. Let's get this line history up here for this spot. Again, 8 p.m. Eastern. We have Troy sitting at +3 right now. This opened with them +2.5. It went down to 2 last night. It's now at 3. It actually got up to 3.5 at 10:42 this morning before that was deemed too much. But Troy, a 3-point dog, a half-point move towards the Ragin' Cajuns. Let's get the total up here. And the cash flow as well. Here we go. Just while the total's coming up, let me tell you the cash flow for the spot. We have 60% of the tickets and 85% of the cash on the Ragin' Cajuns. This feels very familiar to us moving on Florida State yesterday. The market-wise, it's a very similar situation. We'll have to hear, what CMac's plan is, but I do just market-wise, feel that the Ragin' Cajuns are an appealing look here. From a total standpoint here, so many games. We have I'm going to have to pull it up here in a second. I can't stall any longer. Take it away for us here, CMac. Next spot on the board here in the Sun Belt.
Yeah, this is a big game in this one. And Troy, off its last 4, just played 2 teams. The home game with Monroe and Arkansas State. Trade wins and losses, and the same thing. They go on the road against them. Arkansas State wins and losses in Monroe. So Lafayette off the 3-game losing streak. This is where I want them, and they just are a different team here at home because some of these numbers aren't great, but they're a little bit skewed because on the road some of the defensive numbers haven't been great, but at home they've been money. 10-2 here straight up. This is where I want them off the 3-game. They can shoot it well. 73% from the line. I want under 3 here. So we have 2.5s out here. Yeah. Yes,
we can find you.
Yeah, perfect. As long as we have 2.5, I just wanted under 3 that this didn't get over it. As much as I like Troy, I think it's a good spot to fade him. playing well, and they've been really good against the number. But 4-8, they've been all right on the road, and they've taken care of the smaller teams like you have to. It's some of these bad teams like Monroe and in this whole conference. So give me the Raging Cajuns, baby.
I'm going to roll with you on this. I like this a lot. We can get you a -2.5 at -108. I love a team on a 3-game losing streak that's coming home when all 3 games are on the road. It's actually been 4 straight games on the road. I love this look. Troy Torrance says, trust me, CMac, now is the perfect time to fade Troy. I'm right there with CMac. CMac on the board with Louisiana -2.5. Not on the board because he's already given us Jacksonville +1, the under 138 in Stetson Jacksonville, and Furman team total under 73.5. But I am now on the board. We'll be rolling with you on that one. Let's roll on to the next spot on the board. We head over to the A10, St. Louis, Missouri, where the Billikens call home 10-17, 3-11 in conference. Richmond Spiders rolling in 20-7 and 12-2 in conference. The Spiders have been very good, and we're used to seeing them on top of the Atlantic 10. That's where they are right now. They're a half game up on Dayton and Loyola Chicago, who lost yesterday. Richmond's won 3 straight, 2 on the road, and then at home they beat Davidson. Just got past Davidson 66-63. These games haven't been very easy for them, but they've been taking care of business. St. Louis needed to play George Washington, the bottom team in the conference, to snap their 3-game losing streak. That was at home, 96-91 on Saturday. Let's take a look at the line history and the cash flow here for this Spider spot. First off, total-wise, this is at 150.5. It's at 150.5. This opened up at 152 and got up to 153.5. So it's an interesting drop there. And then from a spread perspective here, we have Richmond right now -5 at -114. It's a fishy line. They opened up at 5.5. Then there was a full point move towards St. Louis. That happened at 9:21. So that happened about 6 hours after the line came out. Then there's been a half point of buyback. And now this is juice to Richmond. So it looks like we're going to be back at 5.5 here shortly. Bovada has it at 5.5. And Pinnacle has a juice to -114, which is sort of a 5.5. So it looks like we'll be back at 5.5 shortly. And then cash flow wise for this Richmond Spider spot. God, let me get it here. We have 36% of the tickets and 67% of the cash on St. Louis. It clearly looks like sharp actions on St. Louis. 83% of the tickets and 97% of cash is on the under. Remember, this went from 152.5 up to 153.5. Very, very interesting market movement. I understand the sharps are on St. Louis. Is it possible to back a team that's 3-11 in conference at home, 5 or less, against a team that's 12-2 in conference, fighting for the conference lead? CMac, take it away.
Yeah, I don't know if it is here. I don't know if this is enough points. St. Louis has just been that bad. This one was a wait for me. And it doesn't bother me that this has come down. And I could totally see it. Richmond plays pretty good defense. They're off that tight game, which I like that they're off that against, Davidson, 66-63. Because one thing that I've noticed with them on the road the last month is just points and over, whether it's been Rhode Island, George Washington, Fordham. And we have the worst defensive team, I think, in this conference at St. Louis. This team is just dreadful. It seems like they give up 85 regularly. So I'm not bothered by this. I was hoping I could get 149. So give me the over here.
Taking the over. I like it. 150.5 is the lowest we can get. Over 150.5 at -105. Over 150.5 at -105. So here we go, CMac. Free $500 bet here at the book. Have to bet aside at the 5 or 5.5. Who do you take?
I don't trust St. Louis as much as I want the home dog. I'd be on Richmond.
Interesting.
And I mean, I want you know how I cap, so I can't take St. Louis.
Now, what if this hits 6 in 3 or 4 hours? Does it become more appealing or no? Still
a little bit. You know why I like this over is just St. Louis is so sloppy. They get to the line. Richmond should be able to score. It seems like whatever they want. And it's showed, and like I talked about in these road games against these teams, it's just like they easily get to 80, and it should be 80 plus. Because one thing I've watched a ton of the St. Louis team is just they can't really stop anything. at all. So I have to say outside.
Yeah, important questions you answered there. So thank you. We'll roll on. This is the final spot on CMac's card, and it's a big one. We close up shop in the Pac-12 Desert Financial Arena in Tempe, Arizona. The number 6 ranked Arizona Wildcats, 21-6, 12-4 in the Pac-12 at the Arizona State Sun Devils, 14-14, 8-9 in the Pac-12. Arizona bounced back from that loss at home versus Washington State, who I know a lot of people are keenly interested in Washington State as we move forward, by beating up on the Huskies, 91-75. Gone are the days when Brandon Roy and Nate Robinson are in the backcourt for Washington. Not a good team right now. So a big, easy win for Arizona, 16-point win. Now, they played Arizona State and destroyed them, 105-60. And that was just 11 days ago. They were up 49-31 at the half. Arizona shot 51.1% from the field, 40% from three, only turned off the ball over 5 times, and dominated the glass, 46-28. They were 18.5-point favorites, and they won by 45. So the question is, does Arizona State have an answer? And I would say that the first problem here is that they just beat Washington State, right? When everybody wanted to crown Washington State as the up-and-coming team, watch out for them in the tournament, they beat them 73-61 at home. So you're not coming off the back-to-back losses. You're coming off a really impressive win over Washington State. So that kind of does cloud the situation a little bit. Let's take a look at the line history then for this one. This total is at 159. Opened up at 158. We're at 159. Did get up to 159.5 for a little bit. And then from a spread side situation here, we have it's sitting at 12. This opened up at 12.5, so we have a half-point move. And here, the Sharps are on Arizona State, but it's not just the Sharps. Everybody's on Arizona State. Everybody's expecting to bounce back from them. 88% of the tickets and 95% of the cash is on Arizona State. 60% of tickets, 84% cash on the over. Take it away for us here, CMac, your last spot on the board, Wildcats, Sun Devils.
Yeah, this is the one place where it's worked out. I remember we were here and they went down the road and they got their ass kicked by Northwestern. And they were awful. This team's still bad at times. And I don't even know if I want to watch this because I've seen how good the Arizona State team has played and how horrible they have looked at times. One thing with Arizona, they've had some big wins and looked good on the road, whether it was at Cal, what was the other one? At Colorado, that huge win where everyone thought Colorado. We saw it. That was off the OT, the tight one with Utah. But they still lost. Washington State at Stanford. This big rivalry here, and they just beat the shit out of them, like you just talked about. 105-60. You get their best effort here tonight. Place should be rocking. Whether it gets him enough here, but Hurley, I don't love him as a coach, but he's been pretty good in these big games at home as a dog. So I took the 12.5. Give me the 12, the best number you got on the home dog.
So you are backing Arizona State to show something here. Did that victory over Washington State, over the Cougars, sully that at all? Did it make
no, not. I don't think not when you play Arizona
because it's
too big a rivalry.
I get it. I absolutely get it. Let's lock in here for you. Arizona State. We can get you the 12 plus 12. Can we? I think we can. Here, sorry. Let me just take a look around. Yes, plus 12 minus 110 over at my bookie. Arizona State plus 12 minus 110, and I'm interested in joining you. I might focus on first half. Can you touch on Arizona's domination on the glass last time these two teams met? Is this just what you have to deal with? Or
I think it's just you're just gonna come with this, and you're gonna have to deal with it. They're just bigger, and they pounded them. Good point you pointed at, Jimmy, because they just killed them. They kicked their ass, especially on the glass. It was just awful. But it's one of those deep in Arizona State where they've just gotten shredded on the road. They just look like a totally different basketball team. And they just look totally different here at home. And they've had some clunkers at home. And the Arizona's this talented, they could go in there and win. But I got to be on the 12 in this rivalry. I got to take the points.
I love it. We got Coach Mitten's action in as well. I think that I expect to join you at this point, but I think I might just focus on the first half of this one. But I like both spots here. Plus 12, minus 110 for CMac. He's also on the over 150.5 in Spiders Billikens. He's on the Raging Cajuns minus 2.5. He's on Jacksonville +1 in the under 138. And he is on Furman team total under 73.5. We got Smoking Tree in the house who says Arizona State is dog shit. That's from our Smoking Tree.
I seen it. I seen him play well and just dog shit. Facts.
Yeah,
Facts.
There it is right there. It's soft dog shit, though, not the hardened kind that's been left for too long. CMac, thank you so much for your hard work, my man. Great rolling with you. Can you join us after college basketball on Saturday for our horse racing stream?
Yeah, I will be there, especially later on. I'll probably just take a quick break, and then I will be there. I can't wait.
Dope. Thank you for rocking with us. You will see CMac on Saturday. And also, are you making another appearance on Last Call this week?
Yeah, I'll be on there tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Is that your
okay, so Thursday evening on Last Call.
I love those Thursday cards. They've been pretty good all year too.
Well, get that cash, my man. And thank you for joining us. Please follow CMac on X as well at Conor Mac Picks. Any last words for the Cappers supporting the show?
No, shout out, best chat in the goddamn game, hands down. Shout out to all you guys. But we'll get rolling. You got a long show, plenty of games to get to. I wanted to hit on here a couple others I didn't move. Obviously, Louisville's catching 20 was a look, and I could have pulled the trigger on Ole Miss as much as I was just going through that game. I couldn't do it, so I just wanted to throw those out there. Those were games I was looking at. Thanks for having me.
We're going to be talking the Louisville game as well, so that's great that you added that in.
Excellent.
Mikey Money talking about that spot. Much love, CMac. We will talk soon, my man. We roll on, and we do have one game that will be talked about by two cappers. That one game is the first game for our guy, our next guest, coming to us from Dallas, Texas, star of Medicate Mondays, star of the All About the Hoops basketball live bet stream show that is this evening, tonight, right after Last Call. It is Dabby Cab alongside our guy Dutch Boy Fresh, who are both on today's show. Please welcome from Dallas, Texas. Get ready to party with him in San Antonio. Our guy, the Magic Man, Dabby Cab. Dabby, how are you?
Oh, I'm good, Jimmy. I'm good, man. I'm ready to roll. College basketball is it's hitting stride right now. It's the best time of year, and it's only going to keep getting better. So ready to make some damn money, man.
Well, let's roll. You have been very, very good on this show, so let's keep the winners.
Been better off, Jimmy. I lost my first bet last night in 11 bets. I'm 16-3 my last 19.
Ooh, shit. I love it. Well, I don't love that you lost, but I love that you're running so hot. All right, let's get to work. We start with the big one, 7 p.m. Eastern, the number 11 ranked Auburn Tigers. So you're going to hear Dabby Cab and Mikey Money break this game down. Auburn Tigers 21-6, 10-4 in the SEC. At the number 4 ranked Tennessee Volunteers 21-6, 11-3 in the SEC Thompson Bowling Arena in Knoxville, Tennessee. Take a look at the line history here for this one. We'll start with the total. Total opened up at 151.5. That's right where it is right now. Now it is moved 10 cents to the under. It's minus 120, but that is right where it is right now. And then from a spread perspective, we are sitting here with, let me move back to Bet Online. We're sitting here with Tennessee as 7-point favorites. Open up at 5.5, now 7-point favorites. You could have got them at 6.5 this morning, but it's now 7. So we have a 1.5-point move towards Tennessee. Michael Buelna says Tennessee should roll Auburn, who is not the same team, away from the jungle. There's Chip Plylar in the house. Great to see you, Chip. So let's take a look at the cash flow then for this big one at 7 p.m. And this will be telling here. And remember, we're going to hear this from two different cappers, but the line is moving briskly towards Tennessee, and yet 64% of the tickets and 69% of the cash is on Auburn. That is fascinating. 58% of the tickets and 41% cash on the under. Take it away for, and we didn't talk about the issues, just rest and last game. So let's just touch on that very quickly. Of course, Auburn coming off that win at Georgia. They beat them up badly on Saturday, 97-76, a 21-point win. Tennessee rolling 4 straight victories, just destroyed Texas A&M at home. Beat them up badly to get the revenge off of losing, at Texas A&M. And then these teams have not played this year. So this is the first appearance between them. Take it away for us here, Dabby Cab. Your first game on the board, Auburn, Tennessee.
I'll go ahead and let you know here. This is one that I do think I will be betting. I don't know if you can even consider this what you like to call a waffle. I have not pulled the trigger on this yet. I've just been waiting around watching the line. This is going to be a closely contested defensive battle from start to finish. Both of these teams are, just very good on defense. The Volunteers, I think they're going to come out on top, though. Being at home here versus Auburn is just, we know how that road is, especially here in the SEC. Tennessee's covered the spread in 3 of their last 4 games, and they're holding opponents to 66.7 points per game, and the second lowest field goal shooting percentage in the country at 38%. And, you look on the other side of the ball at the same time, Tennessee is 40th in scoring, putting up 80.3 points per game. So just both sides of the ball, this Volunteers team can play. Auburn also very efficient on defense. They're only allowing 67.3 points per game. They have the 4th best defense against field goal percentage at 38.4%. This is the first meeting between these two teams this season. It's going to be the last meeting, unless they see each other in obviously the conference tournament, or in March Madness. But as far as like scheduling goes, this is the only time they're scheduled against here. And for me, it just comes down to the bottom line being the home court for Tennessee. I think they're going to have the advantage here. The Volunteers have covered the spread in each of their last 3 games, including victories over A&M, like you touched on, Vanderbilt, LSU, a little bit lower tier teams in the SEC, but they're still covering the spread, which is all that matters. So that's still a W for anybody that's been backing them there. I lean on Tennessee hard here. I like the Vols. I don't like that the number's moving against me. If I can get a first half, at 3, or if I can get this at 6, I'm going to pull the trigger. So just know that. But right now, I'm off this game.
Because this 6.5, 7 is too much.
Yeah, it's just a little bit too much for me. That's all. Especially because it's going to be defense. One thing I would say is look at the under also.
All right. Very, very, very interesting. Lot of interest in the waffle play of the day. So you're looking for a 6. If you don't get it, you don't move on it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow. Well, I find the Volunteers extremely appealing. Now, Coach Minton saying, I think 6.5 is too many points. Give me Auburn. Clearly, that's what the gamblers are thinking. So we're seeing 2 great gamblers in Dabby Cab and Coach Minton saying the same thing.
Tennessee's a better basketball team. These are both very, very high caliber teams. They're both very, very good teams, but Tennessee is a better team. I'm just going to say that right now.
Justin says his rules take the 5.5 and lay the 6.5. Very, very interesting. I've written down waffle, which means I'm extremely interested. Let's roll on. Next up, 9 p.m. Eastern, the number 14th ranked Alabama Crimson Tide, 19-8, 11-3 in the SEC at Ole Miss Rebels, 19-8, 6-8 in the SEC. We're at the Sandy and John Black Pavilion here in Oxford, Mississippi. We've heard from CMac that he came close to moving on Ole Miss. Let's get this one set up for us. Another giant game. Giant game at 9 p.m. We have Alabama coming off that loss, and it was an ugly one at Kentucky. I mean, they lose 117-95 on Saturday, snapping their 3-game winning streak. They looked very good, and then, they got beaten. Ole Miss coming off 2 straight losses and a lot of losses this year. They were unable to deliver any kind of rebenga to South Carolina. They've lost 5 of their last 6 games, and they haven't played Alabama this year. So a very interesting spot. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one popping off at 9 p.m. We have Ole Miss right now sitting at +5. This opened up at +6, a 1-point move towards Ole Miss. Then from a total situation, Here we are dealing with a 166.5. This opened up at 167, went down to 166. Now it's at 166.5. And then from a cash flow standpoint, let's get down to the bottom here. Sorry, taking me 1 second. From a cash flow standpoint, we have 66% of the tickets and 71% of the cash on Alabama, 80% of the tickets and 90% of the cash on the over, and yet it's dropped. This is.
Can you say that one more time for me? I'm sorry.
Sure, no problem. We have 66% of the tickets and 71% of the cash on Alabama, and yet we've moved a point in Ole Miss's favor. And then you have 80% of the tickets and 90% of the cash on the over. Again, this total's gone from 167 to 166 back to 166.5. I guess the idea is that Alabama should be an angry group and fire back. The only thing that doesn't correlate is the fact that Alabama's coming off that loss. If Alabama was coming off 4 straight wins and I saw this moving a point towards Ole Miss and throws the losing streak, I'd be all over Ole Miss. But there is a problem, and that's that loss at Kentucky. Take it away for us here, Dabby Cab, Crimson Tide at the Rebels.
That makes me sick that the line's moving in the other way. You know, everybody loves to tell me, because you see, Jimmy, I tag you in it, especially when I'm on your show, but I do it every night. Like, I'll tweet out my bets the night before. If I think that I'm getting the best line on something that I want to bet, I bet it right then and there. I did it last night with Alabama. I took a 5.5 with Alabama last night. Here, let me pull this up because my juice was shit on it too. And then I
I retweeted your actually here. You got the first half -3 at -105, full game -5.5, -115.
Okay, yeah. And I was going to say that. And this morning it went all the way down to 4.5 at a couple places. Now it was sparse, but there was a couple 4.5s for Alabama this morning. There were 5s everywhere. I saw the first half get all the way down to 2.5. I'm pretty sure the first half is available, or I saw it get all the way down to 2. I'm pretty sure it's available at 2.5 most places now. All that being said, I just want to say I don't beat every line movement. So everybody that complains, the next day, well, here you go. You can get a better line than what I got on this one. It just, it is what it is. So I'm on Alabama here. I hate hearing what I just heard from the money with you. That does not make me comfortable, especially because I doubled down. I took Alabama first half and full game, like you just said. Alabama's sitting right now 19-8 overall, but they are 11-3 in conference, which puts them in first place. Just absolutely outstanding. And they're coming up here against a Ole Miss team that's 6-8 in conference, not doing good. Ole Miss was one of those teams. They were winning a lot of games early in the season, but they made their schedule easy, right? That was a lie. Everybody saw Ole Miss like 13 wins early on in the season, thinking like they should be ranked, thinking they're a pretty good team. They're not. Ole Miss is not a good basketball team. That's why I like the Crimson Tide to bounce back here in a big way. You look at what the Rebels have done, Jimmy. They are 0-6 against ranked opponents this season. I'll say that again. 0-6 against ranked opponents. So anytime the Rebels have had to step up in class, they have not been able to, to step up. And they're in the middle of a 2-game skid right now coming into this matchup. I think Alabama runs the Rebels off the floor here. I really do. Alabama has the 12th fastest pace of play in the country. Bama's going to create turnovers, and they're going to turn those turnovers into points quickly. And you look at the other side of the ball, the Rebels are going to try and slow it down. And when you got a team like the Rebels that are struggling, that try and slow it down against a team like Alabama, who's just going to push, especially coming off that loss, I think it gets ugly for Ole Miss here. I think Ole Miss gets sloppy. I think they turn the ball over, and I think the Tide are rolling. You look at the Tide also, they're shooting overall second right now in 3-point percentage. That's just one of those things. I expect them to find their stride here, especially after that disappointing loss to Kentucky. So I got Alabama first half. I got Alabama full game. As far as motivation goes, even though they're not playing one of the bigger teams in the conference, they're in first place right now. And there are a lot of really good fucking teams in this SEC conference. So they need to win this game if they want to stay in first place.
Smoking tree right with you. I mean, this is a spot where you have the angle. You trust the angle. The angle that you have is going to keep me off of Ole Miss, even though the market's correlated with, wanting to back Ole Miss. So you heard CMac say he couldn't get there with Ole Miss. So at this point, one of the situations is where you just got to sit back and trust your capping and let the line do whatever it's done. So Alabama first half -3, -105 for Dabby Cab. Alabama full game -5.5 and -115. Let's roll into the final spot on Dabby Cab's board before Mikey Money joins us 9 p.m. Eastern. We head to the ACC for this one. The Virginia Cavaliers 20-8, 11-6 in conference. The Boston College Eagles 15-12, 6-10 in conference. Silvio Conte Forum in Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts. By the way, Robert Franklin is moving on to Indiana State. Virginia's lost 2 straight. They lost at Virginia Tech, and then on Saturday, they lost at home to North Carolina 54-44. Very low-scoring game. Shout out to our guy, Kenny Ken, in the house, upgrading his membership to PSR Gold. He will be in the horse race on Friday. I love it. We're all ready for these ridiculous horse races in the bar. It's going to be so much fun.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be fun. We're going to do
we need to be able to throw our own money in too and just keep them rolling, right? Everybody.
Oh yeah, it'll be $20 to play. I think because
there
then
you go.
We get then we have $20 to play, and we'll just go from there. We'll pay out first, second, third. We'll do heats. It's going to be ludicrous, but look, it's part of the fun, and
that's going to be a blast.
It's going to be a lot of fun. So here we go. Cavaliers at Boston College with Virginia losing 2 straight and 3 of 4. And Boston College also lost 2 straight. They lost at Florida State 84-76. They lost at NC State 81-70. And now they come home. The last 2 times they were home, they beat Louisville and they beat Miami. Obviously, those are 2 of the bottom 3 teams in the ACC. But they're better at home. I mean, we can just leave it at that. So let's set this up here. The next question is, have these teams faced each other and what happened? And the answer is no. They have not, so there's no Rebenga in store here. So then let's look at the last few home games for Boston College. Can we trust them here? They beat Miami by 8. They beat Louisville by 12. They lose to Florida State by 1. They beat Syracuse by 5. They lose to North Carolina by 10. They beat Notre Dame by 4. So can they be trusted here at home is the question. So let's take a look at the line history. From a line history standpoint, this opened up with Boston College -1. That's exactly where they are. They're -1. Now, this got up to -2.5 last night. So it's right back. Oh, sorry. My bad. They opened up at +1. My bad. They opened up at +1, and within 10 minutes, there was the flip to the favorite. So that's big. So it's still been a 1-point move. From a total side of things here, we are dealing with a 127. This opened up at 127.5, so a half-point move to the under. And then from a cash flow standpoint, you have 71% of the tickets and 82% of the cash on Virginia. Then from a total standpoint, we just know it's 50-50 on the ticket count. We have no information on the cash flow. Take it away for us here, Dabby. Your last game on the board, Cavaliers at Boston College in Chestnut Hill.
This is my least favorite game that I've bet that I'm going to give out on your show all season. I do not like the fact that I'm doing. I mean, you look at Virginia, they haven't put up 50 points in the last 3 games. Just absolutely atrocious and disgusting. But I want to hit the chat here really quick. Our guy Billy, he said wrong team favored. I think so, Jimmy. I think we got the wrong team favored here in this one. I saw somebody else in the chat say they can't trust Virginia. They shouldn't be anywhere close to the tournament pool. Well, at 20-8, they are close to the tournament pool, regardless of how we feel, whether they should or shouldn't. They're right there. I mean, Virginia's right there. And, as shitty as their offense is, we know their defense is just as good as their offense is shitty. The Cavaliers have an imposing defense. They're holding opponents to just 58.4 points per game, which they have to do because, like I said, they haven't even got to 50 points in their last 3 games. But they have a strategic gameplay, and that's the reason why they're sitting at 20-8 overall in the season. And they're 11-6 in conference too. Okay, Virginia is still one of the better teams in this conference. They are 11-6 in conference play. So this is where it came down for why I said this was so ugly. This is one of 2 things. Is Virginia the past couple games and we stay the hell away from them, or are they on the biggest buy low spot ever right now? Is Virginia buy low? And I'm going with the second of those 2. I'm going with the latter. I think Virginia is in a buy low spot right now. I really do. I think everybody's seen how piss poor their offense have been. Everybody saw them only put up 44 points against North Carolina. And I think this is a chance, for them to bounce back against a Boston College team that's going to be a little subpar. It's all going to come down to the defense. I know it's going to come down to the Cavaliers defense and their ability to control the game's tempo. Like I said, I talked about this with Houston. I think it was Saturday, Jimmy. these teams like Houston and Virginia, when we look at their score, like how low the scores of the games are, that is done by design a lot of the time. And that's something I don't think people understand. They want it to be ugly. They want it to be, grabbing the boards off the glass, fighting for second chance opportunities. They don't want to be run and gun like Alabama does. They slow the tempo down on purpose. So they're committed to maintaining this low scoring environment, which I hate. I hate watching it. I'm not a fan of it. But I think in this situation against Boston College, I think they're going to be able to leverage these defensive strengths. I think they're going to be able to capitalize on scoring opportunities. And you know what? Virginia's actually not that – they're not that inefficient scoring. They're pretty efficient when it comes to scoring opportunities. So I think they're a solid bet here. I took Virginia. I went ahead and took them in the first half plus a half a point. Coming off both of those losses on the road, I think the wrong team's favored. If it does somehow come down to a tie at half, I still get the win.
Did you tweet this out as well?
I did not, so you can line shop for me on this one.
Cool. I was making sure I didn't miss it. Let's line shop for you here. Interesting. A very, very, very interesting game here. Both teams coming off of losses. And are you right that you're going to get this a great buy low opportunity here for Virginia? Do you want the plus 1.5, or would you prefer to get the money line plus money? Are you doing first half or full game?
First half.
Oh, just first half. Okay, my bad. Let me get over to first half and lock you in.
Poe One Up said it's because of their name. That's why the buying low and selling high. You might be right, man. That's why I started off saying it at the beginning of this cap. This is one of my least favorite games that I've came on here and given out. But I got to do it. I have to. I went back and forth. I lost sleep. I literally lost sleep over this last night, whether or not I was going to bet Virginia or not. And I'm going to fucking do it. So, I'm going to live with the decision one way or the other.
Virginia first half plus a half at minus 105. Billy Bird says it's Boston College Senior Day on Saturday, so keep an eye out for that. But Dabby Cab is locked in. We have the waffle play of the day. Now, if it goes to 6, it's not a waffle play of the day. He's going to bet it.
There you go.
If it stays at 6.5 or 7, waffle play of the day, that's Tennessee. Then Alabama first half minus 3, minus 105. Alabama full game minus 5.5, minus 115. Virginia first half plus half minus 105. Dabby Cab, tell us a little bit about the show this evening. Tell us a little bit about what's going on in All About the Hoops.
Man, I don't know if all of you guys follow my homie Dutch, my co-host of All About the Hoops and Medicate Monday, but he's been capping college basketball also. And I'm going to screw this up, but he's like 16-3 or something like that. His record's been outstanding, just dominating since he started. Him and I have had a nice little run. I don't like sitting here touting records, Jimmy, because we all know how that shit goes. As soon as you start bragging about your record, you're going to lose and it's going to drop. But shit, it couldn't be better for Dutch and I right now. So we're going to keep firing away, and I hope you guys have been making some money with us. Get in there tonight. All About the Hoops is a blast. We should have more people in there because, we got Trout Wham coming in. We got Billy coming in. We got Mike Money, who's coming on here after me with you. We got some great cappers, and we have been absolutely dominating the board, whether it's live betting, props, or pregame bets. We've been killing it. So I want to see you guys out there tonight.
And Dutchy is 18-4.
I knew I'd mess it up, but
plus 13.6 units, 18-4, plus 13.6 units for Dutch Boy Fresh. Respect, Dabby. Go get it. Just a few weeks. We'll be hanging out together. 3 weeks, exactly 3 weeks from now.
That's crazy, man. I can't wait. I hope all you guys got your tickets. If any of you are sitting there saying, "Oh, I think I'm going to go," but you haven't got your plane ticket yet, or you haven't made your plans yet, Mike, get your damn plane ticket, guys. Buy it right now. We want to see you down there. It's a weekend that you're not going to want to miss. I tell you that. It's the most. I look forward to it more than anything every year since we started doing this.
If Mike has to Uber there, Mike is going to be there. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Mikey will be there. I love it. Go get that cash, Dabby Cab, and thank you for joining us. Let's bring on the aforementioned Monsieur Money to the show, coming to us from the dirtiest of Chesters, Rochester, New York City. Just dirty enough for you, Mikey. How are you, my man?
Yeah, the dirtier the better, Jimmy. Let's go, my guy. Gonna have ourselves some fun today. We got a nice little college basketball card, shortened up here in the NHL, but this is where we're gonna get our money. This is the time of year to be betting college hoops. We got waffles plays there. We got our guy CMac out there. I'm ready to roll, man. Let's go.
Let's go. Yeah, the waffle play of the day is fascinating because you will be touching on that game as well. So it's a fascinating opportunity. Let's get to work, though. You get your card started at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. We head to the A10, the Rhode Island Rams, 11-16, 5-9 in conference at the VCU Rams. It's Ram on Ram here. VCU 18-9, 10-4 in conference. We're in Richmond, Virginia, at the Stuart C. Siegel Center. The Rams are in the throes of a 4-game losing streak. It started okay. They barely lost at UMass, and they look good doing that. Then, losing, to Loyola Chicago, who are, a half game out of the lead in the conference. No harm in that. They lose to Richmond, who are the top of the conference. No harm in that. Then what the hell happened at LaSalle? That's what Rhode Island's coming off of. A horrific display, losing 84-61 to a very low team. They are third worst in the conference. VCU bounced back from their loss at UMass. It was an ugly one by winning at home versus St. Joe's 73-69. There has been talk about what's happening on Saturday, and that's VCU Richmond is on Saturday as well. So let's set this one up and go over the line history. But also the big question is what happened the first time these two teams met? They have yet to meet. They haven't met this year. Let's get into the line history here for this one. Again, 6:30 p.m. action. And we all love the pre-7 p.m. action. So this is a perfect one for us. We have right now a Rhode Island at, that's first half. Let me move over to full game. We have Rhode Island sitting here at plus 13. They opened up at plus 12.5. This went down to 12 initially, but it's come back to 13. So a half-point move towards VCU. And then from a total perspective here, we are sitting at 143 at minus 115. It's opened at 142.5. We've gone up a half point. And then from a cash flow standpoint, we have, here we go. We have Rhode Island with 33% of tickets, just 14% of the cash, 57% of tickets on the over. Take it away, Mikey Money. Your first game on the board, Rams in Richmond, Virginia.
Difficult spot for Rhode Island here, but they've got this VCU team coming into town, and or rather, they're going into town, I guess I should say here, and it's a huge opportunity. I think in this position for this Rhode Island team. If you look back at what's going on for the rest of this Rhode Island season here, they've got VCU today, they've got St. Louis, and then they've got George Mason. George Mason kind of sits in the middle of the pack with the conference, and can certainly appreciate that might be a big game for him. But what a statement defining here. The seasons are getting thin here. You're going to see this in a lot of the way that I cap these games today. You got some upperclassmen realizing the end is right around the horizon, and what a better way to go out than to try to battle this VCU team on the road out here. And the bottom line for the Rhode Island, their defense is terrible. They're bad as bad gets out there. That's why they're losing games. They're 307th in the nation out there. And they're coming out here against a team in VCU that ranks, offensively 249th in the nation, but they do rank 37th in defense as well. So kind of the way I projected this game out to be is a lower scoring game here. Rhode Island, though, over their last 10 games, they're averaging 73 points a pop. Virginia Commonwealth there is averaging 69 points a pop out there. But when these two teams get together, what happens? They're averaging 67 points apiece in those games. Now, that 67 points apiece is a key number for me because you look at the averages of both of these teams here, and they're kind of dead nuts. Then I look back at this A10, and what happens is home favorites that are coming off and over on a Wednesday, in the A10 specifically, 3-11 against the spread in those spots out there. They're losing those games by around 7.5 points on average in margin. But the first halves we're seeing are tied at 35 and 35. You look at this Rhode Island team, their defense sucks, but it takes the longevity of the game to expose how bad that defense is. And you look at Virginia, VCU, one of the best free throw teams in the country, the best free throw team in the conference. So I isolated this thing to full first half. You look at Rhode Island's first halves here, difficult game they just came off against, but you go back here 3-1 in their last 4 in the first halves. They beat Richmond first half 42-40 before getting bludgeoned in that game. Defense got exposed in that second half. They got Loyola, 35-29. UMass, they were up 35-32 in the first half of that game. So A great spot where I just think there's too many points. The number's moving in the direction of VCU. I don't disagree with that spot there, but I think it's a few too many points. I think the free throws will help VCU get there at the end of the game, but because the full game has moved up, the first half has moved up as well, and I think we're getting that right spot now where we're buying ultra low on a team that has shown in the A10 they can cover. And look, wouldn't be surprised to see some shenanigans by Rhode Island at the end of this game and try to make it competitive. Average scores in that A10, home favorite off the over spot there, 76-73. They're losing those games. So, little side note that Rhode Island could have some opportunity from a live betting perspective, especially if that number gets up to 18. But first half to start this card off here, we're going to get the college basketball game rolling here. First half, we got 7.5 points in our back pocket with this Rhode Island Rams team.
You got it. Rhode Island first half plus 7.5 at minus 110 for Mikey Money. Head down to the Southern Conference for our next spot, 7 p.m. Eastern. Sanford Bulldogs 25-4, 14-2 in conference. Of Wofford Terriers 15-14, 8-8. Jerry Richardson Indoor Stadium, Spartanburg, South Carolina for this spot. Let's take a look at the situation here. Sanford leading the way and comfortably. 3 games up on both Chattanooga and UNC Greensboro in the Southern Conference standings. Coming off wins. Now, they did lose at Mercer, but they bounced back, beat Furman 74-72, beat East Tennessee State 87-71. So back-to-back wins at home. Now they head out on the road, and again, they lost their last road game. Wofford has lost 3 straight. I mean, this was a team that was 8-5 in conference and looking good. They lose to UNC Greensboro. Obviously, that one hurt. Then they lose back-to-back road games. The last one on Saturday was the 82-67 loss at Furman, but they're back home. Let's take a look at the initial contest between Sanford and Wofford. It was a very, very close contested affair. 81-79 by Sanford at home. Both teams shot very, very well. And Sanford won by 2 as 11.5 point favorites. So Wofford came to play. Can they do that again? Let's take a look at line history. This opened up at 3 and hasn't moved. Now, this is a strange one for BetOnline. They didn't open this up till 7:46 in the morning, but it opened at 7:46 this morning at 3 and is yet to move. From a total side of things, this opened up at 154.5 and it dropped all the way down to 151, and then it came all the way back, and now it's at 155.5. And then cash-wise here, you have 78% of the tickets and 95% of the cash on Wofford. 78 and 95, 87% of tickets on the over. Take it away for us here. Justin McKelvey is on Wofford. Take it away for us here, Mikey. Bulldogs, Terriers in Spartanburg.
I think you're looking at the first half numbers with the spread there.
I must have,
which is fine. We just went first half in that last game, so that's the way we roll here. But love these spots. We've talked about these quite a bit. And you look at this conference particularly, down to 2 games left in the conference here. We've got this game particularly here, Wofford trying to battle this number 1 Sanford in the conference. You mentioned it earlier, kind of some of the woes that they've gone across here with this 3 straight losses. And I'd love to jump into teams that are in that position. It's also a revenge spot that you mentioned here. And they were getting 11.5 points on the road in that situation to come up just short. And then you look at the series averages between these 2 teams or the head-to-head situation. Wofford's been dominating this team. So Sanford definitely has stepped up. Their play has been exceptional this season here. First half, Sanford runs hard. They're number 7 in the nation in first half points. So it's going to take everything that Wofford has to stay competitive in this one. But in their last 10, they're playing some defensive ball out there. Now, their last game was not a defensive battle for sure. They only scored 67 points. They gave up 82 to a Furman team out there that, is pretty much middle of the pack here. But it's this home court advantage that I want to try to take advantage of with this team for Wofford here. Wofford's won each of its last 10 home games against Sanford. They're dominating. They own this team here. Then you look at the Big Sky and the Southland conferences. Favorites that are less than a -10 are 22 and 44 in those spots. The average line, 5.1. We're seeing the final score, 72.8 to 72.3. Very much a coin flippy final over the course of a 66-game sample. I'm going to take the points in my back pocket here. I think Wofford's very much a potential live dog spot here. I'm going to jump in on the +6 for now. I wish there wasn't 95% of the cash on it. that obviously gives me some pause for concern. But I think that in this case here, this team needs this win. They've got to continue to stack them up. And I think Samford could easily kind of take a peek at this one and say, you know what? We're kind of done with the season here. We don't want anybody to get hurt. We don't have much more to play for. We're playing 2 bottom feeders in Wofford and Citadel. Let's pack it in and let's just work on some things and let's get our bench players in this game in that second half. We see they score a ton of points in the first half. Bench players come in the second half because heaven forbid somebody gets injured in conference play or you do happen to make it to the tournament. You don't want to put a cold freshman in there that's never played a college basketball game in his life. So I think that opens the back door, but I love the 6 in the spot for Wofford.
You got it. And you're right. Wofford and Citadel left. The win over East Tennessee State clinched the conference for them. So you have all these cappers at this point. I mean, this is not the public. The public doesn't really hammer Samford and Wofford in the morning. So you have all these cappers expecting Samford to do exactly what you've said. And the funny thing is it's moved from 5.5 to 6. Somewhat. Now that's at Bet Online. There are a lot of 5.5s out there. But Mikey Money is in. Wofford +6 at -110. Let's roll on. We head down to the American for the next spot on the board. North Texas Mean Green 14-12, 7-7 in conference at the Tulane Green Wave 13-13, 4-10 in conference. Avron B. Fogelman Arena in the Devlin Fieldhouse. Jesus. All right, let's get into the situation ahead of us here. Sorry, let me pull this out. We'll start with the line history. Right now, we have Tulane opening up at +1.5. They're now +2, a half-point move towards North Texas. Then, from a total standpoint here, this opened up at 139.5, and it is now at 138.5. Let's get this up here. Sorry. Then cash flow wise, you have 64% of the tickets and 84% of the cash on North Texas. That line's moved a half point in their favor, and we're getting no information at all on the total. Take it away for us here, Mikey. North Texas at Tulane.
Yeah, this is a situation where it's going to depend on the book you're using for the opening line because it first hit the street at a -2.5. We got 64% of the bets and 84% of the cash on North Texas. And we got a line that's dipping now to -1.5 in some of those spots out there. So definitely, I guess it's kind of come back to 2s now. I do see a 1.5 out there with BetMGM. If you like that North Texas tide, maybe you wait a little bit here. But I think this is a great opportunity. Tulane sucks. They're terrible. They're 13-13 in the conference, though, and North Texas is 14-12. And here's one of those spots that I just talked about. First of all, what the hell's going on with the naming of the stadium here? The Avron B. Fogelman Arena in the Devlin Fieldhouse. What? I don't understand what's going on there. There must have been some big donors contributing to this thing. But offensively here, I think the advantage definitely sits with the Green Wave. Their scoring differential on the season is +82. They're outscoring opponents by 3.2 points a game on average, putting up 83.2 points, which is good enough to be 15th in the nation out there. Their defense is bad, right? They're 80th. They're giving up 80 points a game, and that's just about dead bottom here, 347th in college basketball. But, you know, here's that situation that we talked about. You've got seniors on the horizon. You're looking at this thing going, man, this career is just about done. I'm going to go be an insurance adjuster. I might as well go out there and tag North Texas in the mouth one last time and get it done here. And this is kind of the ring truth philosophy when you look at this team here. Tulane is led by a veteran forward in Kevin Cross. He's averaging, just over 18.5 points a game out there. They have a senior guard in Jalen Forbes. They've got a junior swingman and Sion James out there. Lots of veterans on the staff. And then you look on the other side, and it's pretty much dominated by sophomore opposition. So I think this one means a lot for a Tulane team with the number that we do have from the opening, some reverse line movement on. So love the opportunity to jump in here. Like I said, I think this one just comes down to, who's playing for more in this case here. Easily could jump on this North Texas team and say, yeah, they get it done. But Tulane has won 18 of their last 19 games at home against non-conference opponents. North Texas is a defensive team, but goddamn, I've seen enough North Texas where they're getting whooped by 15 points at halftime and they come back and find a way to win by 1. So I'll take the +2 in the old back pocket here. I think I even see a 2, and that 2's fine. Fuck it. That doesn't matter to me.
I love this look. Love this look. These teams met earlier in the year. North Texas won 70-56, and there was the outlier. Jalen Edwards, 8 of 10 from 3, went for 37 points. They shot 39.6 from the field and 50% from three because Jalen Edwards went off. A clear outlier performance here.
Is he going to do that again on the road? I mean, at that point, come on, right? I mean, maybe he does, and then it's a bad beat, but or I guess it's a good beat in his case, but I don't think so. I think these boys have way too much to play for. Pride on the line here. You know, juniors and seniors, they get itchy. They want to go out there and go bust somebody up. And I think North Texas. The problem with North Texas and the way they play, I mentioned it. It just becomes a snowball, and they've been able with their defense to shut teams down, but. I think you got seniors start crying in the locker room at halftime because the coach gives some emotional conversation about how they're going to be insurance adjusters. And it's about time that they go out there and they step up in that second half. I think they have the opportunity to win both the first half and the second half here. But let's just get the game. We'll take the game at +2.
You know, I like it. Top Shelf plays. Doesn't. He's on North Texas money line. Part of the fun of this. I get it. But I really do like this look, and I will be joining you on it. Tulane +2, -108 here at home. Let's move on. Next up, we have the game that our Dabra Cadabra waffled here. We know what the waffle has done. It's been a moneymaker for all of us, and that was Tennessee. Tennessee. Now, he said he'd move on it at 6, and it could get to 6, but right now, this is sitting at 6.5 or 7. It is doing that despite 62% of the tickets and 67% of the cash on Auburn, and very good cappers in the chat saying this is too many points. And yet the line still moves towards the Volunteers. Take it away. Do you have a plan of action here for a huge game in Knoxville?
Yeah, I'm going to double dip this one here since we got since we're talking about games. Let's give some plays out on these games as well. So I'm jumping in on this Tennessee side of things here. -6.5 is good for me. Love the reverse line movement. I get it. The numbers, it makes a lot of sense. Auburn scores a lot of points. Why wouldn't you want to get involved with this Auburn team? But they're 2-3 in their last 5 on the road. They're only 6-4 in their last 10 to a Tennessee team that's 8-2. You know, Auburn does have an awesome, spread record this season here, rocking down to 17-8-2, but Tennessee on their home court, fans are going to be riled up. We've got the reverse line movement. Tennessee's won 11 straight games against ranked opponents at home. So, them fans are coming out in this game ready to roll. You got that Big 12 and SEC, the two conferences I say hold tremendous home court advantage. Not that I say it, it's a fact here. And on Wednesdays, the home court and the Big 12 and the SEC are 21-12 out there against the spread, covering by 4 points or so on average. And I love the spot for Tennessee. I think it's a great opportunity. This team's running hot, 21-6 versus an Auburn team that's 21-6. There's really not much look ahead in this situation for this Tennessee team. And I think we're going to get the best out of both of these teams. So, when you look at what's kind of coming up on the schedule, though, yeah, there's Alabama and South Carolina. Those are 2 road games for Tennessee, but they got to handle business at home, much like they did against Texas A&M in that 86-51 spot. Laying 10.5 points out there. A lot of people were saying, that's too many points. That's too many points. They kicked the ever-loving shit out of A&M at home. They got Auburn at home, and then they roll out there on the road in the SEC where they know it's going to be tough to have against those teams with home court advantage. They got to get it done. They got to get it done today. And I love them to go out there. 6.5 is fine with me. I think 6.5, to quote our guy Billy Briz, means, yeah, they probably got to win this thing by 8 or 9 points to get the job done. I think they can get to that double-digit spot against Auburn. I'm also going to go in here on the first half because I don't think this is enough points in the first half. These two teams are whipping up around a 78, 79 spot in the first halves, and it's priced around 71.5 since 72. So you look at these two teams, and I kind of alluded to it when you have Auburn, number 9 in the nation in first half points, Tennessee, number 28. Auburn's been scoring more points in the first half of the last 3 games than they have across the season, and they're still averaging number 9 across the season. So I love this first half total points as well. The full game, when I was looking at this total, I see it open at 152.5. It's down to 152s and even some 151.5s. The public, 61% of the bets are pounding away on this under, but 55% of the cash has jumped in on the over in this spot here. So I like this first half. I think you double up these first half, 70, what do we have here? 71, let me see. 71.5 and 71.5 is 143. And this total is, a full 10 points on top of that. So I think we got a great opportunity for this first half and the full game. First half over and the full game Tennessee -6.5.
You got it. You got the -6.5, and you got the over 71 at -110. Over 71 at -110. Let's roll on. Next up, we head to the ACC, 7 p.m. Eastern action. Louisville Cardinals, 8-19, 3-13 in the ACC. At the Duke Blue Devils, 21-6, 12-4 in conference. Cameron Indoor Stadium in Durham. Let's take a look at the situation here. First off, the Cardinals have lost 3 straight. They got that win at home versus Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech just a game and a half ahead of lowly Louisville at the bottom of the standings. They're coming off 3 losses. They lose at Boston College by 12. They lose at Pitt by 27, and then they lose at home versus Notre Dame by 22. So big losses there. Duke coming off that 83-79 loss at Wake Forest. That snapped their winning streak. So they're not pleased. And will that make them a little sharper here? That is the question. And these teams played, and it was not a horrible game. 83-69 for Duke. They were 14.5-point favorites, so Louisville barely got the cover in that one. So let's take a look at the line history here and set up the cash flow. Line history-wise, this opened up at 19.5. It's now 20.5. This opened, the total I've taken off. Sorry, I had the first half here for you. So the full game total here is sitting at 151.5. It opened up at 153, so we've dropped a 1.5. And then cash flow wise, you have 75% of the tickets on Louisville, 50% of the cash, and 78% of the tickets on the under. No cash information. Take it away for us here, Mikey. Cardinals, Blue Devils.
I feel like I've been somewhat dialed into this Duke situation and when to play on and when to fade him. And I'm kind of looking at that today as well. I was on Wake Forest the last game there. Expected that situation and the results that we got out of that thing here. And, you can question it and say, well, it was a bad schedule spot for Duke. Why? Because they had the look-ahead game against the Louisville team that's bottom in the conference in pretty much every standing possible. Defense is terrible with these guys as well. Wasn't a look-ahead spot. And when you look at that last game out there, when they did play Louisville the last time, they won by 14. A lot of points, but didn't cover the spread. It was a 14.5 spot. So, you look back at these numbers for Louisville. What's the motivation for a Duke team in this game here? You've got Virginia on deck next. You've got NC State. Should they go out there and whoop these boys up real good? Absolutely, they should. They're scoring 80.4 points a game on average. They're averaging 48.3% field goal percentage out there. They should get it done. But the big difference, I think, for this game here, the Kyle Filipowski situation, right? I don't know if he stuck his knee out or he just got accidentally run into. I don't know. I don't care. You're not going to go out there and you're not going to, when you've got a team that should go out there and take the conference, they should get some, they're going to get into the tournament regardless at this point. You don't want to risk and jeopardize your guy either going early when it's not quite feeling right or keeping him in there on extended minutes when you're already whooping up a team. So it kind of enters that backdoor situation that we talked about earlier, where you're going to get some underclassmen coming into this game out there. And that, in my opinion, does open the back door. Now, Duke scores a ton of points. Absolutely no question about it. They score a ton of 3-pointers as well. I just think this is a situation where it is too many points in a game where you do have questionable player status here. I don't want to wait and see if he's in or out for this game because I think we're going to get the best of the number right now here with this 19.5. And I think there might even be some 20.5s out there. And yeah, matter of fact, there are. And there's there's even a 21 sitting out there right now at -110 over at PointsBet. So too many points. Look, they can win the game. They can even blow them out. 18 points is a blowout. I just think you've got a team in Louisville, as bad as they are, as bad as their situations look, they're still 5-5 against the spread in their last 10 games. Kind of a coin flip situation, and you're given a shitload of points on this spot here. I think it's a great opportunity to jump in and take this Louisville team who is motivated to play this game and not get busted up. And the flip side of things here, Duke, coming off that loss against Wake, but I think they're just a little gassed out. I think they're coming back home after 3 straight road games, and it's a good opportunity to fade them boys with just too many points. Most of the games I've taken today, with the exception of Tennessee, have every single game coming in, or every team coming in with 3 losses or more. And I think I love this opportunity when it comes down to that situation. Notre Dame 72-50, bad spot against a bad Notre Dame team, and they got crushed. Pittsburgh got crushed. BC, but I think this is a big game that has a lot at stake for Louisville here. These boys want to go out there and at least cover the spread. Now, do they care about the spread? Probably not, but they don't want to go out there and get whooped up by 20 points.
Well, you are locked in. Louisville Cardinals plus 21 at minus 110. We roll on. Head over to the Big Ten for the next one. 7 p.m. Eastern. We have the Northwestern Wildcats 19-8, 10-6 in conference. And Maryland Terrapins. The Terps are 15-13, 7-10 in conference. Xfinity Center in College Park, Maryland. Right now, everybody looking up at Purdue. Northwestern 3.5 games back of Purdue. Illinois ahead of them 2.5 games back. Northwestern is rolling right now. They have that loss, 63-60 loss at Rutgers. But other than that, they've been playing good basketball. They went into Indiana, beat them 76-62, beat Michigan at home 76-62. Much more consistent basketball from the Wildcats than we saw earlier this year. Earlier this year, they just squeaked past Maryland. They won 72-69 at home. They didn't shoot the ball very well, but Maryland turned the ball over too much. Northwestern were 4.5-point favorites, and Maryland covered. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. First off, total-wise, this opened up at 130. Now at 128.5. We've dropped 1.5 points. Let's get the spread here. This opened up with Northwestern plus 4. They're now 5. So the line moving towards Maryland. Maryland actually got up to 5.5, but right now it's at 5. It is juiced towards Maryland. Then cash flow here, 75% of the tickets and 88% of the cash is on Maryland. 45% of the tickets, 75% of cash is on the under. Coach Minton looking at Northwestern here. Let's see what Mikey Money does here. Wildcats, Terps at College Park.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a slip up there. We're not waffling here. We're making a play on this one. We're taking Maryland on the -5 in this spot. And I love this opportunity here. You look at where this Northwestern team's been deficient. This team's been deficient on the road. You look overall at the course and their kind of situation with what they've got going on the season, and they've got a tremendous offense. Absolutely no question about it. I kind of think it's a good fade spot, though, because you've got Boo. I can't say his last name. Is it Boy, Boo, Bois, whatever. Became the top scorer in Northwest history last week, averaging 18.9 points and 5.2 assists. Yeah, that's a big deal. But this is kind of that spot there to kind of channel my inner Jimmy the Bag here, where you just came off one of your best performances or a show-stopping, in this case, school hitting, history or record. Time to fade your ass out there. Furthermore, you got Ty Berry getting taken out to a meniscus tear. They've had 2 guys step in to fill that hole, and so far so good. But this is a situation where you've got one of the best defensive teams in the conference and one of the better defensive teams in the country on their home court in Maryland. And this number kind of tells you everything you need here. You look at what Wildcats, I just mentioned their offense. They're 29th in offensive efficiency. Their 13% turnover rate is tremendous out there, and they shoot 5th nationally when it comes to 3-pointers. But that all changes when you go on the road out there. They get a shitload of fouls. They're one of the worst foul teams in terms of giving up fouls in the country, which I love to use when it comes to getting to that number at the end of this thing. You can be down 3, you go out there, you get a couple of fouls, and all of a sudden it's 6-7 points, and we get that cover. Maryland coming off a 63-56 road win against the Rutgers team out there. The big thing that they're doing is their amount of points allowed per possession is super low right now. They're holding teams to 46 points. On average, there is going to take advantage of this situation where you've got injured players, mixed up chemistry with that offensive line with Northwestern, and a team that's just not good on the road. You got the 6th defensive efficiency team in the country in the Terps. I think that's what shines through here. And defense plays better than offense in this case here. Give me this Maryland team. Last but not least, I'll share a little number with you guys here. Big Ten home favorites, as long as it's not a Tuesday. I don't know what's going on with Tuesdays. But Big Ten home favorites are 20-12 against the spread. They're winning these games by a total of 10 points on average, 36.7 in the first half. Then they're going on there to get the game done overall. So I love this Maryland spot. I think it's a great opportunity for the defense to shine through here, and we will take advantage of where I think is a vulnerable line. We got a -5 at -115. I'll jump in on that unless you can beat that number.
Let's grab that for you. I understand that the betting public is moving towards Maryland here, but I think that's sharp cash, and I think the market is moving towards Maryland because of it. So I'm not as concerned here, and I think I will be joining you with the Terps here. I also want to see cappers who are really skilled, leaning to the other side. I want to see that. Why is there so many points against the Terps team that's 7-10 in conference? I want that to go through people's heads, and even DC Capper saying he's leaning towards Northwestern. I kind of want to. That helps me have more confidence. Not that because he's not betting Northwestern, but he's saying, look, I think this is too many points, and yet still the market's moving towards Maryland. So I find this all extremely appealing. Let's see what we can get you here. Sorry, I had it have it set up right now, so let's grab it here. We can get you a 5. Can we get you a 5? Sorry, we can get you a. Oh, it's gone. Wow, it's moving to 5.5 quickly. Is there any 5s at a? Yes, there is. -5 and -112. We can give you -5. Do you mind that?
No, it's good. Let's go.
All right, let's go. All right, we roll on. Next up, we head over to the A-Sun. Bellarmine Knights, 8-21, 4-10 in conference at the Lipscomb Bisons, 18-11, 9-5 in conference. We're at Allen Arena in Nashville, Tennessee for this one. Let's get this locked and loaded here. We'll start with the line history. This total is sitting at 149.5. It opened at 150.5. We have a 1-point drop towards the under. Then from a spread situation here, we are now at 10, -10 for Lipscomb. Now, this opened at 11.5 and moved to 12. This is a pretty big move towards Bellarmine here. 1.5 move towards Bellarmine. And then let's get to the cash flow. 80% of the tickets are on Bellarmine. There's only 433 tickets in. So yes, it's somewhat public, but obviously it's not your regular Joes who are betting Bellarmine Lipscomb early Wednesday morning. So let's take a look at the situation here. So Bellarmine, winners of 2 straight, both coming at home. Now they head out on the road. Lipscomb just playing good basketball right now. 9-5 in conference, so they're 3 games back of Eastern Kentucky, 1 game back of Stetson. But they went out on the road and they look good. They look good. They beat a weak Central Arkansas team, 85-68, beat them by margin. Austin P is just a game back of them. They were tied with Austin P before that win at Austin P. So Lipscomb playing well on the road and now coming back home. And then we have to see, have they played each other yet this year? And that answer is yes. They played, and Lipscomb won at Bellarmine 81-70. Both teams shot well, but it was the glass that Lipscomb won 39-27. The rebounds, they were 3.5-point favorites, and they covered quite comfortably 81-70. Take it away for us here, Mikey. Bellarmine now traveling to Lipscomb.
Way too many points. Just let me start off by saying way too many points. They played earlier. You mentioned that this season. It was a 3.5-point spot where they were favorites. So, I'm sorry. Favorites, right? Let me just double check my notes.
No, Lipscomb was -3.5.
-3.5. Thank you. So, we got an 8-point differential because of their recent performance out there. To me, that just seems like we're just in a too many point situation. You see the cash coming in here, limited cash, but enough cash that they're looking at it. You see these mid-major programs, and there might only be 400 tickets or 500, 300 tickets. But when they move the thing 1.5 points off the hop there, they're concerned that somebody either knows something or they're not going to get enough action to balance it out on the other side of this thing. So not going to play the somebody knows something game here. But you know who I do like? I like Northern Alabama. I've cashed a shitload on Northern Alabama in the last month here. And they went out there and they handled them as a 4.5-point dog, 82-70. I wouldn't be surprised if Bellarmine's live in this game here. Call me crazy here. 11-12 road games that they've lost out there for Bellarmine. So they're not doing a great job on the road, but home favorites in the A-Sun, definitely not doing a great job either. This is where we talked about this a week ago. We play mid-major games because they don't know what to do from a line perspective. And here's an 11.5, 10.5, whatever. These teams are 1-11 against the spread when they're laying more than a -6 in the A-Sun as a home favorite. We talked about the SEC, the Big 12. We even talked about the Big 10 and those home court advantages. But here's mid-major USA in the A-Sun, those home favorites, 1-11. Their average cover against the spread there, they're -8. So they're not covering the spread by 8 points out there And the average final score we're seeing is 83.7 to 82.7. So, yeah, Lipscomb shoots very well. I got it, 37.1% from the three out there and 76.3 from the free throw line. But you kind of look at how these two teams match up, aside from their effectiveness in the points, which I get it. I'm not an idiot. I see that that's a full sit line, might be not very smart, but at the end of the day, I get that the points are a big factor in these games. But you look at rebounds, Lipscomb, 33.1 on average is 308th in the nation. Bellarmine, 32.3 overall on average out there. You look at the offensive rebounds, 6.6 to 6.2 for Bellarmine. Biggest differentiator there is the three-pointers that we just talked about, 9.2 to Lipscomb, 7.7 for Bellarmine. The assist in the game, they're both sitting there right around a 14. And turnovers, 9.5 for Lipscomb, 9 for Bellarmine. Call me crazy that I'm looking at this thing and thinking they may be live, but then you got a couple point issues going on there. You got 1, 2, 3 guys that are double-digit scores for Lipscomb. You got 1, 2, 3, 4 guys, and then one guy that's 9.9 out there, Garrett Tipton, 9.9 on average for Bellarmine. There's more guys that can put up double digits on that Bellarmine side of things here. I think they come to play in this game. I love the points in the back pocket here, but as we get closer to Hop here, I may have to get a little sprinkle going here. I see a plus 10.5 at minus 115 for Bellarmine.
Okay, we'll give you that time because it's moved to 9.5 over at Bet Rivers. So, I mean, it's fascinating, this huge move towards Bellarmine. Fascinating. With Lipscomb coming back home. I get it. I completely get it. It doesn't fully clearly the market's telling us that it's the play. So I get it from a market standpoint. So I could get you the 10 at minus 108, but you would prefer the 10.5 minus 115?
I'll take the 10 at minus 108. I mean, I see a minus 105 for the 10.
Okay, dope.
DraftKings has got 10 at minus 105. Yeah, I mean, look, if I think they can win outright, I'm not going to pay for the hook. Fuck them. Take a double-digit win.
Bellarmine plus 10 at minus 105 for Mikey Money. Now, Mikey finishes his card with some marquee matchup. So let's roll into the next one. 8:30 p.m. Eastern. We have the St. John's Red Storm, 16-12, 8-9 in the Big East. At the Butler Bulldogs, 16-12, 7-10 in the Big East. We're at Hinkle Fieldhouse in Indianapolis for this one. Sorry, I went back to this Bellarmine spot, but everything else is set up. So let's roll here. This one is at 8:30 p.m. and let's roll here. We have teams that are going to have to play well in the conference tournament if they want to sniff at the tourney. St. John's has won 2 straight. They won at Georgetown and then won at home over Creighton, 80-66. Starting to play better after the mea culpa. The Butlers lost 4 straight here. They lost at Seton Hall 76-64 last out. They lost at Villanova 72-62 before that. 4 straight losses for Butler. This is a Bulldog team that is falling very quickly. And then have they played Butler this year? They have, and they beat them bad. St. John's won 86-70 at home. St. John's only shot 28.6% from 3 and still dominated. They won the battle on the glass by 11. They were 6.5-point favorites, and they covered throughout the game and covered very easily. Let's get into the line history here for this one. This opened up with Butler -1. They're now -1.5. The line moved immediately to Butler. It got up to 2. It's even got up to 2.5, but now it's come back. So we have a half-point move towards Butler. Total wise, this opened up at 151. It's in a half, excuse me. Now it's at 153. So we've gone up 1.5 points. And when we get to the cash flow, you have 25% of the tickets and 32% of the cash on St. John's. So Butler being backed by the public, 92% of the tickets on the under, and this has climbed up to 153. Some confusing information there. Take it away for us here, Mikey. Red Storm at the Bulldogs.
Yeah, I see DC Capper says, Mike, your opinion is 2 games. I like too many points. Mark, I don't know if he's saying that those are the games that he likes or on the other side of it. But look, I love the old mental warfare. Big fan of, Jimmy, who I like? I like John Tortorella. I like the games he plays. I like that he's playing games right now when it comes to the reporters out there that were giving bad press about guys leaving the squad. And I like it when it comes down to the head coach messing with these guys and it comes to college basketball. Rick Pitino put the challenge down. It's like, you know what he said, which is even better than telling them that they're just not good enough? He's like, I don't know if these guys are good enough. We're just taking over a program. I don't know if we have it this year. Like, if you're not challenging these guys to say you want to be part of the solution or the problem, I don't know what's going on. Then, we see a situation where this line's moving in the right direction. What's happened since then? Georgetown and Creighton, they were struggling on the road, this St. John's team, right? They had lost 5 straight on the road. And he puts the gauntlet down there. Then they go, it's Georgetown. I get it. It's not the greatest thing. But they handled them, boys, 90-85. Granted, they were laying a big number, but that was way too many points in that spot to begin with. So what I like most about the way St. John's plays, and this kind of supports the coach challenging these guys, is he recognized, look, we're not the best shooters out there in the country. And if you look at their kind of effectiveness against Butler, 45.4% shooting from the field for Butler, 44.2. So there's a deficiency there for St. John's. You look at the 35.8 for Butler, 32.8 for St. John's. But it's that challenge and saying, look, I don't know if we have it. And then what that does is that these guys throwing elbows, they're playing defense, they're playing both sides of the court, and they're a strong rebounding team out there. So they shoot like shit. They're not really great at defense, but they limit second chance opportunities. And I think that's why this number is as low as it is when it comes down to this thing here. It's not a blowout carry away with this Butler team. You just talked about what happened the last time they met head to head. And coming off a big win here, I think for this St. Johnny's team against that Creighton spot's huge. We have a Butler team now. I do like that they're coming home after losing 4 straight games, but they're not covering spreads either. I think they're in a bad spot here to get plucked off by this Patino squad. St. John's 5-1 against the spread in their last 6 against the Bulldogs as well here. We're just going to go with the money line in this spot here. I think St. John's gets this job done. Probably wire to wire here, but I think it's going to be a close battle. It's just going to be a situation where I think the heart, transcends the ability in this one here. And I think St. John's comes away with this much needed road win to position themselves in this conference.
Best we can give you offshore right now is plus 105. Can you beat that?
No, it's good for me.
St. John's plus 105. I get it. I get it with, the Patino laying down the law. But that's kind of where I wish I could add angles to it to jump on it with you. I certainly don't want Butler. There's no chance I would be on Butler. So I get it's a one-sided route here. Public on Butler, expecting the bounce back. St. John's Red Storm for Mikey Money. We have Tone Miggins joining us. Richmond at -5 is the levels play of the day. And South Carolina money line. That is South Carolina money line and a unit on first half money line as well. And we roll into that game right now. 8:30 p.m. Eastern. So Justin McKelvey going right up with Tone because Justin McKelvey Stacks play of the day is Texas A&M. Gamecocks 22-5, 10-4 in the SEC at the Aggies 15-12, just 6-8 in the SEC. Billy Friedrich loving the South Carolina look. A smoking tree bringing out his max bet here on the Nuggets. I'll copy and paste that because we have 2 games left before Dutch Boy Fresh joins us for NBA. So let's set this one up here. Gamecocks bounce back from those losses at Auburn by 40. Then they lose at home to LSU. Then they go into Ole Miss and they beat them 72-59. Right the ship. Texas A&M felt the Rebenga from Tennessee. Tennessee was an angry group when Texas A&M went there. So you have Texas A&M reeling. They lose at Vanderbilt. That started it. They lose by 25 at Alabama. They lose by 7 at home versus Arkansas. And then they get smashed and grabbed by Tennessee. 4 straight losses here. And the question is, can we expect Texas A&M to bounce back here at home? That is the question. And Texas A&M has not played South Carolina. So there's no game that we can look at here for Rebenga situations. So let's roll. Let's get into the line history here. First off, this total opened up at 135, now 134. We've dropped 1 point to the under. Then I've got the money line up here. So let me quickly move over to the spread. And let's see what we are dealing with this A&M spot. We have A&M sitting here right now -5. They opened up at -3.5. They got up to 5.5 for a little bit at 2 this morning. And they were there for 5 hours from 2 to 7 at 5.5. but still it's juiced towards Texas A&M, and we have a 1.5 point move towards them. Then when we get to the cash information here for this one, get this here. We have Texas A&M with 63% of tickets and 85% of the cash. 85% of the cash market moving in their direction. We have no information on the total. Take it away for us here, Mikey Money. Are you going to be rolling with the level? It's not the levels play of the day, but are you going to be rolling with Tom Miggins on South Carolina, or are you going to be rolling with Justin McKelvey on the Aggies? Floor is yours, my man.
I'm going with my Georgia guy here in Justin McKelvey here. Texas A&M. You know what? South Carolina better be downright scared for this game, because you got a Texas A&M team that they can't even see the bubble at this point. This is the definition of a must-win game for this Texas A&M team. The entire program is going to get flipped around if they don't come out and get this thing. It's going to start with Shitcan, the coach, and it's going to move its way on down. So absolutely red alert situation, panic button time right now. Texas A&M, obviously you mentioned losing 4 straight. Quad 3 losses to shit teams like Vanderbilt and Arkansas are not going to help your cause when you're trying to move forward out there. And, I think you look at this other side of things with this South Carolina team, where they're not playing well is limiting teams to second chance opportunities. They're outside the top 200 in defensive rebounding by Bart Torvik stats out there. And they have been playing well against the spread. I'll give them that, but you got a pissed off team in Texas A&M that knows life is on the line here. You look at this Tennessee game, they lost 86-51. Last performance on the road that A&M team did. And I get it, but are you surprised? They lost 85-6. I'm sorry, they did beat them 85-69 previously, and this is the revenge spot for those boys. So by all intent and purpose, now you lose 175 to Alabama. I don't care if you're on the road or you're at home. You can't be giving up triple digits here. This isn't the NBA, right? You just can't. That's not going to give you the recipe for success. But I think when you have a team that's desperate, in this case, this Texas A&M team, you look at a couple of factors going for them here. We talked previously about what happens in the Big 12 and the SEC. For whatever reason, Wednesdays and the conference favorites are 21-12 against the spread. Conference home favorites in February that are lined over a -3 are 28-16. Late season, when the books are putting numbers on these teams that are more than a coin flip, the books tend to be often correct, especially in these bigger conferences. And when you've got that home favorite ranked versus after a ranked loss there, 6-2 spot for that home favorite team as well. I think you look at these opponents that they lost to. Okay, Tennessee, I got it, that revenge spot. But look at some of the teams they beat. Yeah, 77-66 loss to Houston. Houston's probably going to go on and win the national championship. They were getting 6.5 points out there. They lost by 4. They covered that spread. Yeah, they crushed DePaul. DePaul stinks. We just talked about, I heard the boys talking about Virginia earlier, 59-47, not quite their best performance. I think Iowa State's another team that can go out there and be a Final Four team. They beat Iowa State 73-69. They toasted Penn State. Everybody's been toasting Penn State. SMU, one of the better teams in that conference, 79-66. So where I'm getting at with this one here is I think you got heart and soul on the line for these guys. They know they got to get the job done. I don't think 4.5 points is too many for these guys to go out there and cover. I think they can go and handle this South Carolina team who's been playing outside of their shoes here, 22-5. If you're the A&M Aggies, what are you waiting for? This is motivation wake up central. And the fact that this thing's sitting at this number with a 22-5 team that's been crushing the spread should tell you everything you need to know about this number.
I like it. I'm going to have to spend some extra time on it with Tone on the other side, but I really like it. I like Texas A&M digging in and taking care of business in Reed Arena this evening. Justin McKelvey on the same side. But I can't get you the 4.5. The best I can give you is -5, -108.
Let me just double check something here.
Please do. While you're doing that, we'll set up the final spot on the board here for our guy, Mikey Money. 9 p.m. Eastern, the Minnesota Golden Gophers, 17-10, 8-8 in the Big Ten. At the number 13 Illinois Fighting Illini, 20-7, 11-5 in the Big Ten. We're at State Farm Center in Champaign, Illinois. We have Minnesota right now coming off that loss at Nebraska, 73-55. That came on the heels of back-to-back wins at home for Minnesota, but they've been losing games on the road. They lose at Nebraska by 18 on Sunday. Now, they played well at Purdue. That was just two Thursdays, not last Thursday, but Thursday before that. They played well at Iowa, 90-85. So they haven't been awful until that loss at Nebraska. And then Illinois here, they bounced back from that loss at Penn State that a wild comeback from Penn State. And then they beat Iowa at home by 10, 95-85. And here they are back at home where they have been very good. Currently sitting in second in the Big Ten, a game up on Northwestern, 2.5 back of Purdue. Let's take a look at and then, of course, the question is, has Minnesota faced Illinois this season? And the answer to that is no, they haven't. So this is the first meeting between these two squads. Let's get into the line history here for this one and the cash flow. It's a pretty 50-50 cash flow situation anyways, except for the total. So let's see what's happening here. We have, still got South Carolina, Texas A&M up, my bad. We have Illinois, the total right now at 155. Opened up at 155.5, did get down to 154.5. There was times when it was up at 156, but we have a half-point move towards the under. Then from a spread situation here, we are sitting with a very juiced 11. So this has not really gone from 11.5 to 11. I mean, that's what it's telling us on, but this minus 11 on Illinois is minus 125. So if anything, it's right where it started. So then we get into the cash flow here. And like I said, it's 50-50. You got 51% of the tickets and 53% of the cash on Illinois. Line not moving. You have 25% of the tickets and 53% of cash on the over. Line's not moving towards that over. Liquor Store says Illinois won't be making every shot like Iowa tonight. And he'll be there. Liquor Store will be there in person. Billy Friedrich says Illinois' longest win streak of the season is 5. So not betting them to win it all. Have to win at least 6 in a row. Take it away here. And we don't have Saturated in the house. Shout out to our guy Saturated who follows this Fighting Illini team very closely. Take it away, Mikey. Your last game on the board, Golden Gophers at the Illini.
Jimmy, work with me on this first glance here, right? 23-4 against the spread, Minnesota Gophers. They're getting 11.5 points. I mean, oh my God, this is free money. But I don't think so. And I think that's what they want you to think about this number here. When you look down at this thing here, I've said it before, the biggest effect that Illinois has going for him here, Terrence Shannon. The Terrence Shannon effect is a real deal out there. He's leading the Illini 21.6 points a game. And the books are now kind of in that position where they're like, fuck it, we just don't know what number to put on this Illinois team because this guy was in early in the season. They were whooping teams up. Then it gets kind of that suspension situation going on. He's out of the game for a little while. They're still whooping teams up until they made an overcorrection. They're starting to swing back towards that spot where they probably should be lined here. 11, yeah, it's a big number. I get it, but that should be a red flag if you're sitting there on this Minnesota side saying, hey, this team's great against the spread. We're going to take all these points in our back pocket. The fact that they go on the road to Nebraska and they get shut down by less than 60 points, they put up 55 points. That dud, I don't think, is an anomaly. I think that's because Minnesota's been playing beyond expectation with what they've started the season off with here. And you look at a team where you don't want to be against. You don't want to be against a team that's going out there averaging over 80 points a game. You know, they're looking at it. They're shooting 47.6 points, 80 or more points in 7 straight games for this Illinois team. And you got to go on the road now and play this Illinois team that's out there kicking ass and taking names. You don't force a lot of turnovers. So you don't shoot very well from the free throw line, and you're just kind of rolling up duds here. I think it's a bad spot for these guys here. Last but not least here, we'll kind of keep it short and sweet. Illinois is a favorite specifically against Minnesota, 8-1 against the spread, and they're going out there and they're whooping the shit out of them by almost 20 points a game. So I don't think this is a situation where it's too many points. I think they want you to think that. I think the books are begging you to jump in on this Minnesota situation here, and you go ahead and take those points, but I'm going to jump in on the Illini. I'm going to lay that big number, and I'm going to run with it and get to the bank.
You got it. You got 11.5 minus 107 is the best we can give you.
Beautiful.
11.5
Let me
minus
see.
1.
I think I see an 11.
Grab it. Let me know.
I see an 11 minus 112 over at Bet Rivers.
You got it.
We'll get the hook out of there.
Yeah, good idea. Minus 11 at minus 112. Let's review action for Mikey Money. Mikey Money here. He starts with Rhode Island first half plus 7.5 minus 110. Then he adds Wofford plus 6 at minus 110. He's on Tulane plus 2 at minus 108. I'll be tailing Tulane. He's on Tennessee minus 6.5, and he's on the over 71 first half over 71. I'm going to be joining him on the volunteers. Let me just move this over here. I'm going to be joining him on Tennessee. He's on Louisville plus 21 at minus 110. He's on Maryland at minus 5 at minus 112. I'll be joining him on Maryland. He's on Bellarmine plus 10 at minus 105. St. John's money line plus 105. He's on Texas A&M minus 5, minus 108. I'm very interested in that spot. I'm going to take a closer look, but I expect to move on it. He's on Illinois minus 11 at minus 112, and that is Mikey Money's card here for Wednesday, February 28th on Betting with the Bag. Mikey Money, tell us a little bit about what's going on last call this very evening.
Kicking ass and taking names. We've had a nice week to start things off here. We're consistently chipping away and adding to the bankroll, and it's been a lot of fun. Tonight, we got our guy LJ from H-Town rocking through with us here to cover all things in the NBA. What do we have? A 6-game card in the NBA, only 2 in the NHL, but we're going to go dog hunting tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll have some props out there, and we'll see how these lines mature throughout the day for college basketball because we're looking to go back after it. So nice day yesterday. Solid day here ahead of us today. Already kind of got some of these plays scribbled down. Just need to kind of see how these lines tighten up as we get closer to that last call hour. So always love hanging out though, Jimmy the Bag. Shout out all you guys in the chat. Shout out Razor Sharp. I don't think you can put a trademark on the word first glance, but Gambler's first glance you can, my guys. So go get your cash as well. Look forward to hanging out with you boys on Saturday, getting that pony cash. But I'll be back tomorrow, man. We got this thing rolling again. Can't wait to fire it up. We're in the best time of year to be involved in sports. So shout out all you guys out there, and I'll see you guys again soon.
I love it. I love it. There he is, Mikey Money. Please follow him at PimpSlapPOD. Let's move on to the NBA, and we have just the man for the job. Now, a lot of people are talking about the 18-4 run plus 13.6 units in NCAA basketball. Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they? So we'll see if he's got any best bets in college basketball. But without further ado, please welcome our guy here every Wednesday on Betting with the Bag, and also co-hosting alongside Dabby Cab and All About the Hoops basketball live stream this evening from Las Vegas, Nevada, the freshest man in the handicapping industry. Please welcome our guy, Dutch Boy Fresh. Dutchy, what's good, man? How are you?
Jimmy the motherfucking Bag. NBA is a hell of a drug. And you're looking at the plug. Yeah, man. Good to be back with you, Jim. I'm good, my friend. I'm good. How are you?
I'm struggling. NHL. It's my low watermark of my entire career, and it's a difficult thing to face, man. NBA. You saw I was up double-digit units to start the year. Just a free fall. I went 2-1 yesterday in NBA to stop the bleeding, but I am frustrated. I'm concerned about my bankroll, and I'm ready to lash out at strangers. That is what's going on with me right now. And you are the opposite. You are running beautifully, 18-4 in college basketball. My NBA record is an atrocity. My ROI is now double-digit units down, and it hurts, man. And my bankroll is fragile as my confidence. So, and I still feel comfortable with NBA. I thought I was going to sweep the board yesterday, and some boneheaded decisions by the Cavs down the stretch. I only have one bet. I am coming to the shows with action now, but it's not been good. It's not been good. They do want to hear from your run in college basketball. First off, psychologically, do you have an idea why it's been so glorious for you? And then secondly, is there something you're looking at for this evening?
Yeah, man. I'm not gonna lie. I like them college girls a little more. The do whatever you want girls, college girls a little bit more better than give me what can you do for me? Core side chicks from IG that we got in the association. So I am digging the doors in college ball, my guy. To be quite honest with you, this has all been since the NBA break. I was just like, fuck it, man. And obviously, All About the Hoops has helped. It definitely has helped breaking down, listening to Dabby Cab, Billy Briz, and these boys. And then of course, the Saturday morning stream, just showing support to the guys I vibe out. And I've been seeing these guys make money. I've been following a little bit more lately, and I've just been diving in. But to be quite honest with you, Jim, I don't overthink shit. I'm more capping it more simply off of not the NBA is a lot of eye tests for me. I think you know that. You know, I don't go too much. I like trends to follow my shit, but the NBA to me is what I see. And you know, I've been very profitable at the NBA. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, like college ball, I feel like the less I know, the more it's helping me out right now. I'm not overthinking shit. I'm just going off what the numbers tell me and what Vegas is telling me. And shit don't make sense. I'm betting it. I'm not overthinking. I'm not really looking at it. Yeah, but it's the Detroit Pistons. Yeah, but it's the Washington Wizards. No, I don't give a fuck what the name on the jersey is. I'm just betting the shit. And it's working out. Like that's how I had Notre Dame last night plus 6.5 against Wake Forest. Notre Dame is complete fucking ass. I did it because of the court storming, big win over Duke. You fade Wake. I don't give a fuck who they're playing. Plus, you got Notre Dame at home. You know they got some white boys that can knock down some perimeter shots. Come on, man. So I figured Notre Dame at the house, get it. Was live to win. Took the 6.5, and they went outright. So you know what I mean?
Yeah, the market in college sports is hugely advantageous. You know?
Yeah, it's like if it don't make sense, it don't make sense, fellas. You know, like don't be scared. Honestly,
exactly. Is there anything that you're looking at tonight, or your focus is on the
tweet out? Yeah, I cannot not look at college ball, my guy. I mean, I'm loving this shit right now. So I did tweet out 2 plays. We asked about it, so we'll give it to you. I did tweet out Iron Man Butler -1.5, and Oklahoma State, the Cowboys. Okay. Now Butler, obviously, it's not too hard to think about. We're fading St. John's. I mean, St. John's off a huge win, you know, at the crib. Rick Pitino rallied the boys. They also beat this team, Butler, by 16 earlier this season. Butler's lost 4 straight at the crib. Good basketball team, have good wins at the house as well. You got a team in St. John's, I believe that's 3-4 on the road, or maybe even worse than that. They're not that great on the road, St. John's, and you got a Butler team that handles the business at the house and it's got to get some the taste of winning back in their mouth. So I like Butler a lot tonight. I really do, and I think Oklahoma State. Won't go too much into that, but I like Oklahoma State as well. I think the numbers moving up a little bit. It was at 2. It's at 2.5 now most places. Oklahoma State Cowboys, good money.
I like it. I heard every show these days I'll hear a very soft knock on my door, and it's Carter. You know, a very soft knock. Now he's crying, but he's not allowed in. But he's interested. So I fear for his.
He wants in, man.
Even Ella asking about who you betting on tonight. I'm like, oh god, she's 6. All right, let's roll.
You got action real quick. My bad, Jim. You got action in college ball. Did you look at either one of those games I mentioned?
I looked at that Butler St. John's game because Mikey Money's on St. John's. The only thing that correlated with St. John's is the Calipari, throwing down the gauntlet, throwing down the challenge to his team, and they've responded with 2 games.
Oh, Ricky P. Yeah, I mean, they did what they had. This long-winded pimp, huh? The long-winded pimp's going with Ricky P. He was talking shit about him last week. Now he's all fucking on the Ricky P. Okay, pimp. Okay, I'll see you at the motherfucking window, bro.
But it wasn't enough to correlate on that one. Now the Oklahoma State spot is a little different. We have Jay Smooth with the Smooth Balls play of the day on it. I did not cap that one. So, it's been a really good season for me. Now I'm not up 13.6 units on the year, but I am up double digits, and I like the card that's sort of formed here. But
another real juicy one, real quick, Jim. I haven't got to the window with it yet, but I think Creighton's in a big spot too against Seton Hall. Seton Hall's an impressive team though, but I kind of like Creighton first half full game. I was looking at that.
And also, everyone, don't forget our confidence pool will be up as soon as the tournament is announced and the seedings are in place. Remember, we're also doing a regular bracket pool, but we're also doing the confidence pool. You get 100 points, and you put together your roster of teams with 100 points. A 1 seed costs you 16 points. 16 seed costs you 1 point. You put in your roster and you just sit back. Nothing else. You don't do anything else. But let's get to work here in the association. And we start with a fascinating spot. And already we have a best bet from BJ. He's moved on the Pacers -4.5. And I get it. And I thought about it. I thought about it, and I just thought because of what the Pelicans are doing on the road, 18-12 on the road, but maybe this is absolutely the perfect spot to fade them. Now, the line was put out when I saw it. This line was at 6, and I saw it move to 5.5, and I was interested of the line moving towards the Pelicanos, but BJ got it at 4.5, and now it's at 6.5. So that was all gone. We're going to be using Pinnacle line movements here. But Pinnacle opened this up at 6. When it was at 5.5, I thought that was telling me that the Pelicanos are live, and maybe they are live. But this is now moved to 6.5. It moved to 6.5 30 minutes ago. So we have the half-point move towards the Pacers. Let's pull up the total here in this one.
And that's due to the fact that, my bad, Jim. That's due to the fact that everyone just got listed as questionable for the Pelicanos.
Is that right?
Yeah, Zion, BI, and CJ might be his first game back, but Zion and BI are both questionable now.
Wow. Okay. So that is that. Okay. Interesting. This total has gone from 239 to 237.5. And when we get to the cash flow here in NBA, let's move over here. We have 84% of the tickets and 79% of cash on the Pacers. So, Pacers being heavily backed, and maybe they should be. From a total side of things, 23% of the tickets are on the over, and 90% of the cash is on that over. So here we go. Gainbridge Fieldhouse in Indianapolis. The Pelicans post All-Star break are 2-2, playing 16th fastest pace in the league, 98.5 possessions a game. They're shooting the ball well, 46% from the field, 38.5 from 3. Pacers are 2-1, playing at the 5th fastest pace in the league. Remember the month leading up to the All-Star break, the pace was slowing down. Coming out of the All-Star break, the pace is speeding up for the top teams. The teams that are playing slow are continuing to play really slow, but the Pacers playing at the 5th fastest pace in the league, 104.17 possessions a game. To explain that more, the week leading into the All-Star break, that would have been clearly the fastest pace in the league. They're shooting the ball well, too, 51.6% from the field and 37% from 3. Pelicans are on the second half back-to-back after an impressive 115-92 victory last night in New York. We were on them. Snapped a 2-game losing streak. They've won 3 straight on the road. They've won 6 of 7 on the road. Trey Murphy went for 26 and hit 6 threes, and he was playing in place of CJ McCollum. Pacers coming off having their 3-game winning streak, snapped a 130-122 home loss to the Raptors. Tyrese Halliburton had a terrible night, 2 from 11 from the floor, 1 for 6 for 3, scored 9 points, but Benedict Mathurin was spectacular for 34 points and 5 of 8 from 3. Take it away for us here, Dutch. Pelicanos, Pacers, what's your move?
Yeah, man. This one, I can't lie. I like the Indiana Pacers, man. When they're growing on me, Miles Turner is playing some of the best ball I've seen him play. I mean, he really liked playing with Holly. He got him locked in. Say what you will about this motherfucker, Holly. He a corny motherfucker, but man, he nice on the court. He real nice on the court. Ugly ass shot too, but it go in. But yeah, Holly gonna lock it up. The numbers kind of got a little out of control. I was definitely looking for the Pacers here. To get going. I mean, to kind of put it on the Pelicanos, impressive win from the Pelicanos yesterday in New York. Now, obviously, they travel to Indiana. And how impressive is it really? Because impressive is it really, with the Knicks playing the way they have been of late. But going into Madison Square Garden, handling business like they did, double-digit win, a little pat on the back. But now you go to Indiana, where Indiana, obviously showed up, smacked around my boy Luka and the crew by 20, and then kind of just laid off the next game. Shout out to everyone on Medicaid Monday. Our boy Justin and the whole crew was all over the Raptors, plus 6.5, I believe, on Monday, and they went outright against Indiana. Indiana just didn't give a fuck about that game. So I expect Indiana to get back to what they've been doing, which is winning basketball games, won 3 out of the last 4, 6 out of the last 9, and 10 out of the last 13 meetings they've beaten these boys up. So I expect them to continue to do it with the Pelicanos team, who you really don't know who's going to be out there. CJ's first game back. I don't know if that, obviously we look to fade stars sometimes with the first game back. I don't know if I'd say that so much with CJ, but I don't look to bet Zion in the back-to-back by any means. You can't trust that motherfucker. And BI has been in and out of the lineup before and after the break. So it's Indiana here for me or nothing. Now, before the long-winded pimp started his motherfucking breakdown, I mean, shit, but during his whole little slot, the line moved fucking 20 cents. But, I did have a play here, and this is the first one I gave out this time, Jim. This was going to be the first one here. But it's the Pacers, the 2-team money line, and Pacers are part of one of the money lines. The line's getting a little up there, though. now between both games because both numbers have climbed. The other pieces with the Sacramento Kings, Indiana Pacers later on the card. Denver Nuggets.
All right. Well, the first leg of a money line parlay for Dutch will be including the.
Why you gotta say it like that? No, I'm just fucking with you, bro. He does it. It's the first one, bro. It's the first one.
Hey, look, we watched Dabby Cab crushing the first half money line parlays. So
it's all about the first half money line parlay. It's a full fucking game shit. All right, but shout out to my guy Cab. He does cash those, but crazy bet. I mean, I just see value in this, but there was a lot more value before the line moved 1.5 on each fucking game.
Let's roll on. 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Next up for us, we have the Dallas Mavericks 33-25, 15-12 on the road at the Raptors, 22-36, 12-16 at home. Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, Ontario. I told you guys that I wanted to fade Dallas on all these games, and it didn't work last night. Spreadsheet play today was on Dallas. I thought I was in business. There was some interesting calls down the stretch there when it looked like the Cavs were going to stretch their lead, but maybe Luka was going to find a way. He looked so silky smooth yesterday, and now it's
his play, Jim. That was my only play was that game. I had Luka. I had them plus 4.5. But crazy fucking game, huh? Max Strus. Wow, like that was a game.
It was crazy because as soon as it left his hand, it looked in.
Like wet, huh?
It was crazy. Like I never see that when someone shoots from 60 feet that it looks in right away. You're always shocked that it comes in, but it was like this just looks perfect as soon as it leaves his hand, and he was just a monster all game.
I don't know if you've seen PJ, but he dunked it. He's flexing like this, going down the court, and then he's oh fuck, what's the ball? It was fucking hilarious. Once Strus, because Strus kind of knew it was going in once it left his hand, like you said. It was a beautiful thing, man. I mean, I'm happy I covered. Unfortunately, obviously you didn't win. One of us had to win, but yeah.
No doubt. And there were some good cappers on the Mavs in that spot to bounce back. What do they do here? They're 1-2 post All-Star break, 13th fastest pace in the league. They're shooting the ball beautifully, 49.3% from the field, 43.5% from three. Toronto undefeated post All-Star break. 3-0, 7th fastest pace in the league. They're speeding up, 101.5 possessions a game, 51.1% from the field, 41.8% from three. We know what we're going to get from Scotty Barnes. It's when IQ steps up, you start seeing how this team could possibly be good as they move forward. But let's set this up on Luka Doncic's 25th birthday. From a total scenario, we are sitting here at a 239. This opened up at 239. It dropped down to 237. And it's back at 239. That doesn't tell the whole story, because if we go over to Bet Online, you'll see that this opened up at 245. 245 and went down to 237.5. So I know that we're focusing on pinnacle line moves, and you couldn't, put 10K on that bet. There's limits when Bet Online opens up their action, but very, very interesting spot there on the total. From a point spread scenario, we are sitting here at a 3. That's right where it opened. This did move to 2.5 for a little while. It's right back at 3, and exact same juice as the opening line. Let's get into the cash flow then. 89% of the tickets, 79% of the cash on the under, and we've seen the markets move quickly. Then it's 50-50 on the tickets. 85% of the cash is on the Dallas Mavericks. Razor Sharp Pick says Dallas had to be mad from last night, but traveling all the way to Canada after that loss, I don't know if they can keep up with the pace the Raptors are going to have running up and down the court. Kelly McKinnon says Pirtle listed as a toss-up. I have expecting him not to play. I guess now, it looked like it could have been a bad ankle injury. It's not. It's just a sprained ankle. And he's a game-time decision right now.
He went through shoot-around, though, no?
And that's important. But I came into this morning not thinking, and last night thinking he wouldn't play. But obviously, if Pirtle wasn't going to be in there, this line would have changed, and it hasn't. So every right to believe that Pirtle will be out there. Mavericks on the second half of the back-to-back after losing 121-119 with that crazy 3. Luka 45, 14, and 9. God, he's so smooth. I mean, it's just crazy. It's just crazy watching him. I can't, And Kyrie looked great. Kyrie does have some defensive lapses in the last few minutes of the game, but we know that's just part of him. Raptors coming off their third straight win. Scotty went for 21, 12, and 12. 4th triple-double of the season. He's already set our franchise record with 4 triple doubles.
Yeah.
Say what you want about the state of a franchise that doesn't have a player with 4 triple doubles, whatever. He also had 5 block shots. RJ Barrett went for 24, but Grady Dick is starting to show out he went for 18. Had some big threes. He's not afraid to take that shot. That's why he was drafted. Over his last 9 games, Grady Dick has 12.9 points in 21.2 minutes a game while shooting 59.2% from the field. Very, very good. Take it away here. Wine Time says Luka drops 40 and they lose tonight. What do you think here? Take it away for us here, Dutch. Mavericks, Raptors.
Yeah, man. Shout out to our guy Wine Time. Hey, yeah. I like that he passed my guy on the back, but then gives out, the goods at the end. Because I like the Raptors here, man. I mean, shit, I'm not gonna overthink. Someone said don't overthink it in the chat. Dallas, I think I can't overthink this shit, and it's got to be Toronto here. Obviously, I like Big Poto out there. They're just a better basketball team with him out there. But if one team, you could say that just ain't really got a big man. I mean, they did go get Gafford. Lively's been in and out. But they light down low, man. Dallas continues to be light down low, especially from a defensive perspective. They got some guys that can come out there and knock down open shots here and there, but nobody's scaring you down low from a defensive perspective. PJ Washington, the addition. I'm not really liking it. I'm not liking it, man. He's got to knock down them corner threes or, big dunk from that Luka set him up last night. But outside of that, I believe he had 2 rebounds. I mean, you out there as the 4, you got to get some fucking rebounds, man. I mean, you got to get more than 2 rebounds when you're playing that many motherfucking minutes. So from this aspect, it's the 4th game in 6 nights, I believe, for the Mavericks. They started off a good game against Phoenix, handled business against Phoenix, and then go get smacked around in Indiana. Then a tough basketball game in Cleveland last night. That shit obviously went down to the last minute. Luka and them boys thought that was the W. Then it gets ripped out of their motherfucking heart. Luka plays 41 minutes last night. Kyrie played tons of minutes last night. Already top-heavy minute team when it comes to these guys. Kyrie and especially Luka play an awful lot of minutes. Now they travel to Toronto. Tim Hardaway Jr. can't buy a fucking bucket. The bench is light as fuck. And you got Toronto winning 3 straight. Got a little momentum back at the crib. The addition to Kelly Olynyk, the Canadian boy, I like it. I think he's going to continue to find his feet there off the bench. So the bench strengthens. You got him and Bruce Brown. You asked me, that's 2 more of the better bench players that you could ask for coming off the bench. And to me, you're right. It all is about Scotty Barnes. But from a perimeter perspective, Gary Trent's got to knock down open shots. Gary Trent knocks down open 3-point jumpers. This team, we can make some money off them. So, and they're competitive when they do. So quickly, nice addition, obviously. But to me, Trent's got to be out there knocking down that open J. I see that 3 go in. I'm going to feel pretty good, especially with this 3 in my pocket. So, yeah, I like the Toronto Raptors here, +3. It's good money. And they've had their way a little bit in this series, Jim. They're 3-0 ATS last 3 meetings versus these boys. They are 7-1 straight up last 8 meetings in Toronto. So Dallas is 1-6-1 ATS last 8 overall. Last 8 meetings versus the Toronto Raptors. So I look forward to continue tonight.
Yeah, I'm interested in joining you guys. I mean, if Pirtle's going to play 25 minutes, Boucher's a game time decision, as well. It does scare me. I mean, Darko's going to have to make some moves, with who is going to be at the 5. But I like this.
And when I looked at this earlier, I think it's like almost fucking like 80 high, close to 90%, high 80s public on Dallas.
Cash wise, yeah, 85% of the cash, but 50-50 with the tickets. I would prefer, obviously, the ticket count being high and the cash not being as high.
Okay, I thought the ticket count was so higher than that.
Yeah, right now, I don't know how much has changed, but I'm interested. I'm interested in joining you. I find it hard to believe that the Raptors are just going to, they needed the All-Star break. It was clear they were dealing with injuries to Pirtle. They needed some continuity and some practice time with IQ. And Razor says it's Luka's birthday. Does he go off after playing 41 minutes yesterday?
Luka goes off every fucking night. The fuck you talking, Razor? Come on, man. This boy goes off.
Let's roll on. Oh, looks like we have There we go. Pull Dutch here. Let's get Dutch back in action. But let's set up. Oh, there. He's good to go. I saw the smoke waft. Let's roll. Next up for us, Dutch, 8 p.m. Eastern. Memphis Grizzlies, 20-38, 13-16 on the road at the Minnesota Timberwolves, 41-17, 21-6 at home at the Target Center, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Memphis has looked atrocious coming out of the All-Star break, shooting 24.6% from three in these two games, 40.4 from the field. Minnesota's not shooting the ball well, and Minnesota's roster in a state of flux right now with Cat. We don't know. We missed the game on Tuesday against San Antonio, missed yesterday's game due to personal reasons. Will he be in the lineup tonight? Do you have any? Let's start there. Is Cat going to be on the floor?
I mean, I don't really know, Jim, to be quite honest with you. I would say the number that can't even really tell you, because I think with or without him, they're still going to be a double-digit favorite.
Wine Time says T-Wolves minus 11.5, says absolute smash spot. See, I was on the other side here. I don't know if Ant is going to play with the left ankle injury. I mean, I know he came back and played, but I mean, if do you have any concern? He's such a baller. You know, he wants to be like Mike and play 82 a year. Naz Reid stepped up in Cat's absence, went for 22, 8 of 10 from the field. The Grizzlies just got destroyed at home versus Brooklyn on Monday. I mean, if Lamar Stevens is your leading scorer, you're in big trouble. Jaren Jackson went for 15. Luke Kennard went for 11. But now the Wolves on the second half of back-to-back. So let's take a look at the line history here for this one. Minnesota at minus 12. I mean, that tells me that Cat's in, without a doubt. It tells me Cat's in and Ant's good to go. That line would have changed. People know, like, it. You know, it starts filtering in when the inside information comes out. You know, there's cappers who are trying to get the information. When they get it, they move on it right away. This total is down to 209. It opened up at 211. We have a 2-point move towards the under. And then cash flow wise here, you have 80% of the tickets on the Grizzlies and 66% of the cash, which is a surprise. And then 93% of tickets are on the under. We've seen this total drop heavy. So take it away for us here, Dutch. Grizzlies, Timberwolves.
Yeah, man, not much here for me on this one. Obviously there's levels to this shit, and Minnesota's clearly on another level. So it's not. I mean, it's Minnesota or nothing for me. Obviously, I've said Memphis has been the try-hard basketball team of the NBA. I'm starting to watch them a little bit now. I'm starting to see Derrick Rose get some good minutes. They got Lamar Stevens out there playing more minutes. Luke Kennard's playing an awful lot of minutes in the starting lineup. So I don't know. That maybe they're starting to get watered down a little bit here. So it is a big number. I think it's a big number for a reason. So I could only look Minnesota here. But yeah, absolutely nothing for me.
And Robert Franklin saying Cap probably in, mourning a high school teammate that passed. If the Grizzlies were feeling better about themselves, I would agree that this must be a smash shot. But this is a team that, say what you want about the lack of skill, they do have character. The Grizzlies are trying out there. So I'm off of this spot, but I can understand Wine Time's thought here. Let's move on to the next spot on the board. And the only bet I've made, I'm on the Chicago Bulls +5. I should have waited and got the 5.5. Stimmy OG is big on the over 215.5 in Cleveland, Chicago. I find that interesting, and I wonder if I should focus on the Bulls. I just, 2 for 29 from 3 is simply not going to happen again. That's all. This is a team that isn't great from 3. 25.8% post All-Star break, 15th fastest pace in the league, and Cleveland's shooting the ball real nice. Spider looked really good at times yesterday. 39.7 from 3 and 50.3 from the field. 96.88 possessions game. That's 22nd fastest in the NBA. The Cavaliers are playing. So first off, this total, we've heard Stimmy OG moving on this over. It's sitting at 216. This opened up at 216, got up to 216.5, and came back to 216. We have 5 cents of movement on the over. And then from a spread perspective here, it's at 5.5. Now you can still get 5s, but this opened up at 4.5. So we have a 1-point move towards the Cavaliers, which makes me very uncomfortable. We already heard from Dan Kelly, who is a Cleveland Cavalier fan, knows everything about the squad, and he's on the Chicago Bulls money line. 77% of the tickets are on the under and 26% of the cash. 23% of the tickets are on the over and 74% of the cash. It seems like a sharp move on the over. The Bulls have 65% of the tickets and 71% of cash. So then why is the line not moving towards them? Mikey Money says unders are smashing. I think this number might be low for a reason. Wine Time agreeing with that. Von Polo and Robert Franklin all with the Bulls. And Troy Torrance says hell no with the Bulls. He watched that poor performance up close and personal. Back to this, though. Both teams on the second half of back-to-back. Cavs 121-119 at home over the Mavericks with the Strus bomb. Strus 7 threes, 4 in just over a minute. 4 in just over a minute to get on a real roll here. Spider put up 31 points. The Bulls come off a very embarrassing 105-95 loss at home to the Pistons last night. Third loss in 4 games. Vooch went for 25 and 10. And it looks like Caruso will not be available at this point. He is listed as, what is he listed as? Sorry, he is listed as, he's not even on the injury report. Wow. Okay. So I guess Caruso will be available. We're going to watch him. He injured his right hamstring in the fourth quarter. So, we'll ask Dutch when he comes back what he thinks. I'm on the Bulls. I'm on the Bulls. So's Julian Cesario. He's on the Bulls. Wine Time's on DeRozan over 22.5. Been hitting his points prop nearly every single game. Kelly McInnes on the other side with the Cavs -5. The question here, though, is do we want to take the Bulls team total over? And I'm interested in doing that. I really am after a 2 for 29 performance from 3. I'm interested. Now, getting cute on these overs has not helped me. But I'm very interested in moving on the Bulls team total over. Justin McKelvey also on the Bulls +5 says that over 105.5 is very tempting. I agree. It's very, very tempting. Okay, let's move on to the next spot on the board. 9 p.m. Eastern. We have the Sacramento Kings 33-24, 17-14 on the road at the Denver Nuggets 33-19, 22-5 at home. Now, we've been given action from Smoking Tree. His max bet is the Nuggets -7.5. We heard from BJ that the Nuggets were almost his max bet. He's on the Pacers. The Trill OG play today is Denver -2.5 first quarter and a Jokic triple-double. Kings 17-14 on the road. Nuggets 22-5 at home. I almost moved on the Kings, but I couldn't press the button knowing that they were 3-0 against the Denver Nuggets this year. It just, the idea that Denver's going to let some teams sweep them, I just don't see here. Don't see. Sacramento 2-1 since the post All-Star break, playing 19th fastest pace in the league, and they're shooting nice, 52.8 from the field, 40.2% from 3. Denver's been ugly from 3, but 54.4% from the field. My dude says Nuggets have been getting destroyed by the Kings lately. Jokic hits 25 points here. Swine Time says, man, I want to take the Kings so bad, but this line is high for a reason. Let's take a look at the line history right now. Dutch has lost his Wi-Fi. If he can get it back, he will jump on, but we just have a couple more games to finish here. So let's go Sacramento, Denver. This is sitting at 7.5. It is juiced to Denver. Denver opened up at 8, got up to 8.5, and then came back to 7.5. But it's juiced, so it looks like we'll get back to this 8 here shortly. Then from a total side of things, this total is sitting at 230.5. 230.5, and it opened up at 229. So this did get up to 231, but right now it's at 230.5. So we have a 1.5 point move towards the over. The Dapper Capper saying this is a Nuggets spot here. Robert Franklin leaning towards the Kings, and BJ says they're inviting Kings money at this number. Nuggets all the way. From a cash flow standpoint, you have 73% of the tickets and 76% of cash on the Denver Nuggets. Line's not moving towards them. From a total standpoint, we're sitting here with 70% of tickets and 91% cash on the under, and yet it's climbed a 1.5. Kings coming off having their 3 and winning streak snapped to 121-110 loss at home versus Miami on Monday. Sacramento, as I said, they've beaten Denver all 3 times. On February 9th, they destroyed the Nuggets in Sacramento. It was a horrible spot for the Nuggets. If you remember, it was the day after Kobe night. The Nuggets beat the Lakers in a very emotional evening where they unveiled the Kobe Bryant statue. And we knew that the next night the Kings were the best bet of the year. They won so easily, 135-106. 5 days later was the shocker. 5 days later, they go and beat Denver 102-98 in Denver, and they were 16 points down. Now, in both of those games, these last two games that we speak of, Denver was without two starters. They're going to have a full lineup here. Nuggets coming up their third straight win, 119-103 at Golden State on Sunday. Jokic, third straight triple-double, 32, 16, and 16. He is the first player in NBA history to have three straight triple-doubles with at least 14 boards, 14 assists. And KCP is back, and he's important. He's missed these last two games against the Kings, and we know what he can do on the perimeter, and that is defend. Andrew G says Jokic will feast tonight. Von Polo on Denver, and Razor Sharp picks Gambler's first glance is in. The Gambler's first glance is the Bulls a +5. So I'm right there with our guy Razor Sharp picks here. +5 for the Bulls. Shout out for our guy Razor Sharp picks, and join us on Saturday for our horse racing stream. Serious business on Denver first quarter and full time at even money. I get it. I don't think that Denver cares really about beating them by margin. I don't think that Jokic really cares that much that the Kings have beat them 3-0. I think they don't want to be swept. I get Denver here. I wish the line was moving towards them. The trilogy play days, Denver -3.5 first quarter. I get that as well. I don't feel like there's a big enough edge at this number for me. Let's roll into the final game on today's card. Lakers 31-28, 11-19 on the road at the Clippers 37-19, 20-7 at home at Crypto.com Arena in Los Angeles, California. Both teams have not looked good out of the break. Both teams 1-2. The Lakers playing at the 9th fastest pace in the league. Remember, going into the break, they were playing at the fastest pace in the league in just a week or so leading into the break. Razor Sharp Pick says Caruso now listed as questionable. Oh, damn. We knew he was going to be questionable. I thought he wasn't even. I thought he was just good to go. I'm just going to refresh this, and you were right. Caruso now listed as questionable. I didn't think Caruso was going to be in the lineup. If Caruso is out of the lineup, that does make the over way more appealing because he can't score and doesn't call bank when he banks his threes, and he's a great defender. My dude says no Paul George for the Clippers. He loves Kawhi to get 20 in this one. Clippers playing at 23rd fastest pace in the league, shooting 45.9 from the field and 35.2% from three. Troy Torrance is fading the Bulls. I get it, Troy. You watching them go 2 for 29 is exactly what the Undoing Project is about. That is the example right there. Now, maybe you're absolutely right to believe what you saw. But the whole book is about undoing what you just saw. And it's a very difficult thing to do. I'm not saying you're wrong. You're not saying you're wrong. Troy says, I'm watching this market go from 4 to 6. That is disconcerting, without a doubt. And we'll all see what happens. We'll all see what happens. But that over is becoming more appealing, thinking that Caruso won't be in the lineup. But here we go in this spot. Lakers, Clippers at Crypto. Let's take a look at the line history. Now, in the past, we would just see Lakers play the Clippers and know that the Clippers were going to beat them. They had a great run going against the Lakers. This total's gone from 235.5 to 234.5, and this point spread here has not moved, which I thought was strange. It has not left the number at 3.5. It's opened up -106. It's now -105. It has not touched the number. Ricky Bobby, we'll go over that money line parlay here, but it was Nuggets Pacers. So then let's go over to the cash flow. You have 73% of tickets and 47% cash on the under. So bigger bets have come in on the over. And from a point spread standpoint, you have 53% of the tickets and 85% of cash on the Clippers. Why in the world is the line not moving towards them? Lakers coming off a 123-113 loss at Phoenix on Sunday. LeBron went for 28. Clippers coming off a 123-107 loss at home over Sacramento on Sunday. Without Paul George, Storm and Norman Powell has to step up. He did. He went for 21. Kawhi and Harden each went for 20. They did not shoot well. 35.5% from the field, 11 of 31. So here, the market is telling us that the Lakers are going to be very, very much in this basketball game. Should we trust that? maybe we should. Do we forget about all the things that the Clippers have done to the Lakers of late? Truly, maybe that we should. Maybe this is the time when the Lakers step up and the Clippers are actually, hurting. This market is extreme. 85% of the cash is on the Clippers and they're not moving that line. How are they not moving that line? I think that this is, unfortunately, a bet that I'm going to have to make on the Lakers. I try hard not to back them. Let's take a look at a couple other books. So we've seen no movement, even though 85% of the cash is on the Clippers over at Pinnacle. Over at Bet Online, we have seen this go from 4 to 3.5. That took an hour and 3 minutes. I mean, this is just screaming Lakers. It's screaming Lakers, and I'm going to have to bet it. Okay. I'm going to grab the Lakers plus 3.5. The money line parlay for Dutch Boy Fresh was the Pacers and the Nuggets. That money line parlay is at minus 114 right now at Pinnacle. So let's give him that. Let's give him that one. He wanted that Pacers Nuggets at minus 114. So that is Dutch. Pacers Nuggets at minus 114. The question is, do I move on the Raptors? I'm going to have to sit with that for a little bit longer. But I think I'm going to have to bet the Lakers here. I'm going to have to bet the Lakers. Not something I want to do, but I'm going to bet the Lakers. So I'm going to add the Lakers to the Bulls. I'm right with our guy Razor on the Bulls. And we will see how this all bangs out. But that is our and spreadsheet play days on the Clippers. Spreadsheet play days on the Clippers. I don't like seeing that. It's also on the Rangers puck line. That was a move bet by CMac. And it's also on South Carolina plus 5.5. So Ron Crawford hammering the board here. Wine Time says LeBron over 7.5 assists. It looks appealing as well. I like LeBron assists every time he misses a game. He seems to always come back and be, extra giving. But here, I'm going to be on the Lakers plus 3.5. I will bet that as soon as the show's over. All right, let's review all action. Jose, if you would like to join us, we would love to see you here for the closing of the show. How are you, my friend?
Doing all right. Can't complain. Just counting down the days till baseball. So it's going to be fun.
And it is coming quickly. Are you going to be betting the spring training?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Let's review all action. Pig Milk play today, South Carolina. And Spreadsheet play today is South Carolina. So we have the corner of Spreadsheet and Pig Milk Boulevard. CMax on the Rangers, puck line minus 1.5 plus 100. My only spot in NHL is the under 6.5 in Columbus Rangers. He's on the over 6.5. CMac is on St. Louis Edmonton. Then the smooth balls play of the day is Oklahoma State minus 2. CMax on Furman, team total under 73.5. He's on Jacksonville plus 1 and the under 138. He's on Louisiana minus 2.5. I'm going to be joining him on that. And it's hard for me not to be interested on St. Louis, but I can get off of it. He's on Arizona State plus 12. I would like Arizona State first half. Then 7 p.m. Eastern, Dabby Cab gave us Alabama first half minus 3 and full game minus 5.5. Then he gave us Virginia first half plus a half. Mikey Money gave us Rhode Island first half plus 7.5. Wofford plus 6. He gave us Tulane plus 2. I'll be on that. He gave us Tennessee minus 6.5. I'll be on that. He gave us the first half over 71 in Auburn, Tennessee. He gave us Louisville plus 21. And he gave us Maryland minus 5. I'll be on that. Bellarmine plus 10. St. John's money line that goes up against Dutch Boy Fresh, who's been running so hot. And then Tone Miggins is on Richmond minus 5. And he's on South Carolina money line first half and full game. And Texas A&M minus 5 is a spot that our guy Mikey Money and our guy Justin McKelvey are both on, and I would like to join them. Should I go up against this action with on South Carolina? I'm not sure if I can do that. Illinois minus 11. I get the idea there. I get the idea. That is our show for today. And good God, I need a winning day today so badly, Jose, so badly.
I believe in you.
God, well, you believed in me yesterday, and I did not deliver in NHL. I thought I was going to get it. I thought I was sitting all night. I was like, this is going to be a nice night for me. And it fell apart late for me. Are you moving on anything today, Jose?
I don't think so. No, just a chill day of working and shit today. Cutting these videos up, doing all the good stuff, getting stuff ready for Palooza as always. Can't wait for that, guys. Don't forget, as always, third weekend in March. Be there. Come early. Get your Airbnb squared away. Get your hotel squared away. People have come to me for advice. I'm always available. Just DM me on Twitter. I can point you in the right direction. I do recommend to everyone you should go get an Airbnb. Maybe DM someone on Twitter or reach out with them somehow so you guys can split that hoe. But yeah, if you guys want hotel recommendations, I can point you in the right way.
I love it. I can't wait. I'm 21 days away from landing in San Antonio. So, if you can remember that, Jose, it's betting with Bouquet on that Wednesday.
Yes, and Kent Davies. I think it was Kent Davies.
Kent Davies will be in on Wednesday. Yeah,
Kent Davies, and he's only going to be there on Wednesday. So that's going to be the funny part. He's going to be in here on Wednesday and then jet. But shout out to Kent there. But yeah,
it's going to be dope. I landed about 8:30 at night, Nate. Every time I've gone to San Antonio, I've left at 5 a.m. I've shown up at the plane just hammered. Not this time. I'm gonna because I've got the Thursday morning and Friday morning shows, so I'm gonna be locked. I'm gonna go get right to the bar, but I'll get right to the bar and start capping.
Nuke and Gokster.
Yeah, we are all rolling in at the same time, and then Spenny Penny Bombs comes the following day from Toronto. I'm not sure when Bobano gets in, but I'm pumped up, man. I'm pumped up. Jose, I need you to bless my action so badly here and mean it. Fucking mean it.
Of course. I always mean it. What are you implying? I don't.
No, I just want you to go real sincere with this shit.
Well, we need it. Everyone's had these kind of weeks and stretches where their gambling's not hitting, but god damn it, pulling out of that hole is what builds character, as you say, Jimmy. So I believe in your character. It does count. Character counts, as they say in school here. Shout out to Mike M, Razor, Fernando, Philly Eagle Flyer, Julian, Nate, Kenny Can, Joey Marinaccio, Lucky Lefty. All you guys appreciate it so much. By the way, the guy that was asking me about RBI props, I would bet under on all those kind of things. Some of those lines are ridiculous. Just look up some of their like Ohtani, for example. I don't know what his number is off the top of my head, but just look up what his number is and see what his career numbers are. Some are a little inflated. It's kind of ridiculous, but shout out to you guys. Appreciate it. Jimmy, I believe in you. God damn it. I don't know exactly what you're betting today, but god damn it, I believe in you. Texas A&M going to cash. I think you're on that. Julian's on that. It's going to be fun. So it's going to be a great time. Shout out to the Waffles play of the day. Shout out to you, Jimmy. We'll see you guys next time. Leche y los bookmakers. Oh, sick. Good job by me.